अतिथि देवो भव, यही हमारी परंपरा है। यही भारतीय परंपरा निभाते हुए हमारे आदरणीय गेस्ट अंदर पधारते हैं। It is a privilege for all of us gathered here to have with us our esteemed guest speakers and respected DGP Rajasthan Sir, Shri Umesh Mishra ji. It gives us immense warmth and great pleasure to grace all of you for your presence in this seminar. We welcome you, sir. We also welcome Shri B.L. Soni, sir. We would like to request you to please grace the dais. Respected sir, please grace the dais. Okay. Ajay. Thanks. It's the time to felicitate. Humble request to DGP Rajasthan sir. Please present a bouquet to Shri K. Vijayakumar sir. We would like to honor you with a bouquet. Request to DG cum Director Rajasthan Police Academy, Shri Rajiv Sharma sir. Please present a bouquet to Shri D. Shivanandan sir. Request to Additional Director General of Police Railways, Shri Sanjay Agrawal sir. Please felicitate Shri Shantanu Mukherjee sir. This seminar is organized to gain insight and information that would remain effective for police organization. To give an insight about the seminar and to coordinate it, I would like to request ADGP Railways, Shri Sanjay Agrawal sir. Sir, please.
A very good morning to all. On behalf of the Director General of Police, Shri Umesh Mishra, and all the officers and men of Rajasthan Police, it is an honor and privilege to welcome our eminent guest for today's seminar. I also extend a warm welcome to our respected retired senior police officers, my senior colleagues, officers of Rajasthan Police, members of the media, and dear friends. Today we have gathered here for the annual seminar titled Indian Police Present-Day Challenges and Roadmap for the Future. This annual seminar is a key event of the Rajasthan Police Divas celebrations. The Divas is celebrated to commemorate the amalgamation of various police forces belonging to the princely states of erstwhile Rajputana into a single police force known as the Rajasthan Police. This was done on 16th of April 1949. Rajasthan Police, which is an epitome of professionalism, courage, fairness, loyalty and integrity, is now a 110,000 strong force, which has progressively grown over the years in organization, equipment, operational techniques, attitude, and outlook. We are a police force for whom people and communities are the most valued asset and have pledged to serve them with unceasing commitment, humility, and trust. Sir, during these celebrations till now, we've had a grand ceremonial parade graced by the Honorable Chief Minister and a high tea at the majestic police headquarters in Jaipur. This seminar will be followed by a Bada Khana and cultural program in the evening. Tomorrow we will be having a panel discussion on tackling cybercrime and the importance of partnerships between police and community. The acronym VUCA, V for volatile, U for uncertain, C for complex, and A for ambiguous, has gained traction over the past few years as a way of describing today's world. Today, law enforcement faces a rapidly shifting landscape with challenges on every front. Incidents go from local to national in seconds, and the ramifications can be long-lasting. New form of crime, new technologies, demographic shifts, and new expectations of the communities are changing the very nature and basic of police functioning. On one hand, the police force will have to innovate and adapt to the rapidly changing scenario to respond most appropriately to the emerging crime patterns and meet the community's expectations. On one hand, issues such as terrorism, insurgency, and pandemics may give rise to severe and imminent disruptions in society requiring the full attention of the police force. While on the other, emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, robotics, biotechnology, and quantum computing will connect and empower people like never before, keeping the police on their toes. These emerging user-friendly technologies will provide opportunities for ideologies to attract followers and fundamentalists to come closer and work together from geographically different locations with common objective of causing strife and chaos. The growing awareness and the increasing trend of resonant disinformation on social media will play a part in fueling exaggerated notions of nationalism, income inequalities, religious and caste-based fragmentation. Sir, the COVID-19 pandemic has exposed the limitation of planning for the future. At the same time, the pandemic has also reaffirmed that organizations that are flexible in their approach and are not bound to outdated traditions and work culture have survived and have come out more robust with better and more efficient delivery systems. The challenges in the next decade will become very complex and difficult to anticipate unless the police forces prepare themselves and think more innovatively about the best police policies and interventions for addressing them, and mobilize responses quickly to maximize chances of success. It is indeed an honor to have such a reputed and extraordinary bouquet of speakers for today's seminar. These iconic police officers have, by the deep-rooted commitment, sacrifices, vision, and Herculean effort, pushed the envelope and raised the bar for the entire police establishment of the country. They have infused professionalism and a sense of pride in the khaki. They have not only added luster and shine to the Indian Police Service, but have also set enduring examples for all of us to emulate and imbibe. They are like battle-hardened warriors who have repeatedly overcome challenges of varied nature and strengthened national security. They are also like sentinels who have witnessed the various challenges and events as they unfolded, the role of law enforcement agencies and the changing environment over the last few decades. They have both a global and national perspective and are uniquely placed to discuss the topic of today's seminar. Now, with the permission of the judge, I would like to introduce our first speaker. It is my privilege and honor to introduce Shri Vijay Kumar. I have had the good fortune of working with him in CRPF. Sir has been SP in 4 districts of Tamil Nadu. He was part of the Special Protection Group of the Prime Minister. He raised the Special Security Group for protection of the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. He played a pivotal role in containing the caste violence in Madurai in 1997 as IG Southern Range. His other assignments include Inspector General of the Border Security Force in Kashmir during the most sensitive period of the Kargil War and the Fidayeen attacks from 2008 to 2011. As Commissioner of Police Chennai, he was able to neutralize some of the most notorious criminals. He has also served as Additional Director General Law and Order Tamil Nadu, Director of the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel National Police Academy, Hyderabad, and the Director General of the Central Reserve Police Force. He also headed the Special Task Force to nab Veerappan. He was advisor to the Governor of Jharkhand and Jammu and Kashmir, and also Senior Security Advisor in the Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India, on left-wing extremism and J&K affairs. Besides a master's degree in business administration, he has 3 master's degree of law. He is fond of reading books on management, law, strategy, history, especially military, war and strategy, and fiction. He has authored the best-selling book, Veerappan, Chasing the Brigand, on the life, rise and fall, chase and killing of Veerappan. His decorations include the Counterinsurgency Medal, the Jammu and Kashmir Medal, the Police Medal for Meritorious Service in 1993, the President's Police Medal for Distinguished Services of 1999, and the President's Police Medal for Gallantry on the eve of Independence Day 2005 for Veerappan operations. So indeed, it is an honor that you are here with us today, sir. I would now request to play a short film that shows the way Veerappan was ambushed. It's a very short film of not more than 40 seconds, and thereafter there's a small film how they prepared for it.
That is how we are positioned with the school. That bunker lorry was very helpful. This is an additional sweet box or sugarcane lorry. Now that was the ambulance. We intercepted it so well. He would have been definitely alive or dead. There's no question of his escaping. That was a kind of arrangement, fail-proof. And we were lucky to plan all this well in time. The coordination was very good. But things always go wrong at the last moment. That are the 2 people getting out of the vehicle and they are rescued. Immediately after that, we gave that warning. When it went not heeded by him, then we operated. And the results are well known.
We didn't want to take too much of your time. So this is the last few moments around 10:10 in the night and 10:20 in the night. Exactly at 10:09 and 10:10. At 10:10 in the night, the vehicle came there, and we were able to complete this ambush. But the preparation had taken so long. It had taken veterans like Walter Devaram, who is my icon, 1963 topper of the batch, one of the leading top guys of the Indian Police Service. He had finished off, mopped up most of the team. From 156 or so, he whittled down to 4 people. And I went into the cusp of fortune at the time when the team was dwindling and his fortunes were crumbling. And I was able to achieve it. I means the team, not me at all. So this is only a sample. You may not be getting the full appreciation, but it was a very cute little ambush in which we could not have failed. We had no injuries. We had only some shrapnels. And I had a burnt ammunition falling in through my vest, into my t-shirt, into my belly. It heated me up for a second. But when you are firing at close quarters, my buddy Sundaram, head constable, his bullets were coming, the spent shells were coming into me. I had kept it as a souvenir for life, to be shared between my grandsons. Now I will show you another short video, very, very short one, 60 seconds. What is the relevance of the 60 seconds? To be able to do things fast, to be able to make it a muscle memory, to make it repetitive, to make it perfect. Fast, not wrong. When it's 15 seconds over, you can see the clock, 15 seconds over, 20 seconds. Seconds over. I will just give you a short explanation. I will not bore you with the details. There were like this about 60 to 70 drills. And every single member of the STF, who was the average age was 25, 27 was the average age, I was 50. Why? How did I fit into the team? They boosted my morale rather than I boosting. The point I would like to underline towards the end of today's talk, that just like you boosted the morale in the earlier generations, you will have to boost the skills. Training can prepare you for anything. These are all physical, muscular memory. But what we are talking today, something very futuristic, something which can be daunting, also be very beneficial to us. So, as a first mover, meaning the first man to deliver the lecture, I think I have an audience who is relatively more fresh, more amenable, more receptive, hopefully friendly. If it is based on merit cum seniority, I would have come last. If it is based simply on seniority, because I tumbled into the service first, I suppose I've been asked to speak first. So it's a pleasure sitting with two of them. Shantanu Mukherjee was my great colleague in the Special Protection Group of Mr. Rajiv Gandhi in 1985. And Mr. Sivanandan, who is one of my idols. I had mentorship from above, my seniors, people who are chronologically little 1 year or few years junior to me. I look at people in every cadre, even the junior most, if somebody has done a triathlon or whatever thing. So that way, I've got a lot of interesting friends here. Umesh, thank you so much for calling me. Sanjay Agarwal for agreeing me to have here. Biju and Ravi Prakash I saw. Then you have Rajiv Sharma. Then I have icons in this Ivakada like Amitabh, just know him, DGP former, C.A.S. Gill, Mr. Shantanu, so on. It's a pleasure to be here today, meet and discuss a few things. I may face an extinction of whatever ideas I say because the subsequent speakers may be better armed. But knowing that possibility, I still like to make one point clear that Victor Hugo said, there is one thing greater than an army, it is an idea. So whatever ideas I'm saying, the voluntary or full disclosure, none of it is mine. It is absolutely unoriginal speech, which means it is in public domain. It could be authentic. It could be maybe a little daunting, as I told you. This place, your illustrious police force, has reached 74th year. My congratulations. It's a great day for you, matter of great honor and privilege. So all of us are here, you particularly, inject more effervescence, more energy into the system, because 74 per se may indicate age. But there is one thing, I am also entering my 70th year this year. There is a WhatsApp group in which I was 60 years old. My colleagues told me, 60 to 70 years, you are at your best. Your intelligence is speaking, you are smarter and all. Was it seriously said or just to console us? We didn't know. But when I was, my colleagues, most of them entered the 70th year, a little ahead of me. I was a little junior by age. They started changing the tack and saying 70 to 80 years is the best year. Suddenly things have changed. That means we are trying to accommodate the world to ourselves rather than the other way. Why? Just because human beings are craftier and you've got a brain better in weight to body weight to ratio, you've got the best brains. You means you and I, me included. Otherwise, we are bipodal. We are on your feet and going, and we are the least suitable for any clean jungle law. The jungle law is more just than any other law. The man with the might, right. But here, the right may be changed with might. And the predator would have eaten you long time ago. You are no more. You are able to. The dinosaurs vanished, and you are sitting at the peak of the food chain. Why? Because of the brain. Therefore, the humbling question today: supposing there is a brain which is better than the human being, is it a possibility? This is where I come to the topic. That what is the future? Is there a brain which man has created, which is going to beat him? I want to bring a book called Homo Deus by a chap called Harari. He has written lovely books, 21 Ideas for 21st Century, Homo Sapiens, and so on. Now, recently, he himself was a little shaken. What did he say in the book called Homo Deus? Homo means human being, you and me. Deus means God. He says there is going to be in the near future a combination of the best brain amongst us, the best machines. Together they are going to be deadly. If you're not able to mutually adjust and tame, you're going to have a problem. Now, the same Harari and Wozniak, Elon Musk, who is the owner of Tesla and a brilliant man, he's into space technology, and 1100 others, much 3 times bigger than this auditorium, but all of them are technological geeks. They wrote in a paper called Future of Life Institutions. We are talking about future of police. They're talking about future of life. Police is part of the whole life. And in the whole system, they're saying that this AI, artificial intelligence, is a serious threat. And if you don't tame it, they say pause. Pause means put it on pause. We know all pause. Stop it. Now, a few years ago, Bill Gates and so many other geeks got together San Jose, and they were talked about ethics, ethical digital management, ethical management of the future intelligence. But this is not going to. Why? Because Elon Musk, who is telling slow down, was the man who in 2015 co-funded an open artificial intelligence. It's called OpenAI. For some reason, he got out in 2018. Now ChatGPT has already come. Many of us know what is ChatGPT. It's the Google of Google. It's a Google master. Google to the power of 10. Any knowledge you want, it can give you. So he's saying himself, let us stop and think over. In this context, what will happen? What I am going to talk is not science fiction, but scientific facts. You've already got robotic mule. American Army has started using it. And for the drone, used as a scout to reduce the IED damage, because 2/3 of the injuries in Afghanistan to the US soldiers was through IED, explosives rather than bullets. So the 2 drones used to go like a scout, just like in our patrolling, we used to have one scout and the second. Number 1, number 2, pilot, co-pilot type. Now the drones were doing the job, and if they find any tampering of the ground, they know there could have been IED. They have taken the signature yesterday. Today morning they are watching it. They advise the soldiers, don't take this route. Drone is scout, artificial insects, what is called millibots. Not actual insects, it is technological insects, tech insects. These are all already there. Then you got the smart helmet, which is coming, about which I as a consumer has been talking about 20 years, right from the SPG days or even little later. We used to go to the DRDO and ask them. When I am entering a room, I have been in some situations, I have lost some dear colleagues, somehow the bullets evaded me, or I was lucky to be standing here today. I always used to feel that we human beings have got only 110 degrees of sight. Out of that, this is the best. If I improve my lateral sight as a good bodyguard, I would have gone up to here, good training, agility, acuity, and so on. But beyond this, I don't have a composite eye or a rolling eye. So what if I have a camera on the helmet or back here, which gives me the vision what is happening 360? What I now do is I enter a room and depend on my buddy, and he's watching one side. I have to divide the 360 between us. But the technology is already coming, which will give you a situational awareness, because it has got eye from the sky. It will tell you that don't enter the room. It will sense and smell and sniff and tell you. These are all futuristic. It's already not very futuristic, already happening. It will evolve. You got injured in the battlefield. World War I, if you see the record, more people died due to infection and injuries than to bullets. Many people were shot on apparent feeling of cowardice because they were thought to be cowards. They were shell shocked and they were shot on the spot for cowardice. But injured could not be recovered because there were not enough medicines, correct kind of approach. Now you have a Kevlar, a body armor, which will expand like an airbag in the car. It's all there, and soon India will be getting it. So it is no more fiction, but facts. Artificial intelligence should be a tamed tiger or a horror movie, depends on how we are going to handle it now. Long back, the man who discovered computer, Alan Turing, I think, he said not to worry, your gadgets, remove the battery, you can switch off. But did it happen? Did not. There was a movie which I didn't see, about which I read, which said 2 people are going to the space and they decide to switch off the computer because they don't need the computer anymore for return journey. The computer senses it. And when they try to enter the spacecraft, the computer shuts the door and they are not able to come in. And they talk. And the computer says, I know what you are trying to do. You are trying to kill me. I will not let you come. This is a movie, but it's going to happen. It's already happening in different ways. So what they do is they negotiate. They open a hatch and through the back door they enter and they kill the computer. Now the computer has already done something on a suicide mission. So the entire computer dies and the two men die. Computer, make sure you also die because you are killing me. This is what a machine can do. Can it really happen? So people are trying to say artificial intelligence is artificial, and we, all of us, have got artificial general intelligence. Both are different. What is the difference? The difference is when you are in a driverless car, the so-called driver, the digital driver, is unable to distinguish between a small baby, 4-year baby crossing, or something else with a similar intensity, a plastic sheet of flying with the same velocity, creating that kind of a scientific input, cannot. Therefore, the emotional quotient is missing. So when I am giving you the scarier picture of AI, let me tell you something very little consoling. There was a study in Economist magazine years ago saying that 3 tribes, 3 category of people may survive the artificial intelligence massacre. Auditors may be killed, the lawyers may have to change the profile, so many others. The low-skilled people will be butchered. But the nurses cannot be taken away because they got a special emotional empathy and certain other quotient which cannot be brought in by the machine. So you can have a robot to give you a massage, but you cannot replace a nurse in terms of her empathy. Touch. Second, the truck driver, you can kill the taxi driver. New York City, the prediction was 1/3 will wipe off, but it did not happen. Let me also tell you, it was supposed to happen yesterday. I mean, last 3 years, yesterday means by this year. It does not happen for some reason, but there is nothing to guarantee it cannot happen. So if the normal car drivers are killed, means they vanish, they get pushed off out of the job market, truck drivers will survive, it says, because truck is a different composition, different concept. It requires a different kind of skills for negotiation. Therefore, trucks may survive. Very consoling news for you and me. What is the third category? Policemen cannot be completely taken over by machines. I don't think I should give full marks to this economic survey, but I liked it because it says that nurse, truck driver, and policemen are in one category. You cannot be so easily wiped away. So you are irreplaceable. You have to ask this question. Am I really that irreplaceable? Now, coming to the next point, what are we doing in society? What is our output to society? COVID, fantastic job by the Indian police, handling insurgencies, in handling so much of other muck and problems and scavenging, social engineering assistance. There is no other department which can really match you. I'm not giving it as a compliment just to flatter you and make you feel good to boost your morale. That's a fact of life. But then, the ultimate point is, what is your product? Product is safety and security. So who judges it? Society judges it. Where are you sitting? You are one among the 4 legs. You've got the society on one side, you've got the institutions other side, you've got the political class on one side who decide. When I say institutions, public, political leaders, institutions mean including judiciary and so on. So you are working as a part, not as a silo. You don't have that kind of autonomy to decide. Technology is there to remove your drudgery, cut the silly works or the redundant works, to simplify the procedure, and to remove the dull men. Dull men, poor chaps. Give them empathy, but you cannot keep. That is going hard. You can't say, okay, it's a human compassion, I want to keep this guy. No. You may be ethically be correct, but you will be economically, socially become irrelevant. Because in society, whatever innovations happen in economics and social circles, the innovations are exploited not only for benevolence but for the malevolence, for the wrong reasons, and it will be the crooks who will be half a step ahead of you. That is why you find very strangely, when I was talking to my liaison officer, Mr. Jain, mentioning that that the cyber crimes are there in plenty in some remote areas also. I was not surprised. pleasantly surprised in the sense that it was confirming my view that why from Jharkhand, Jharkhand is little backward in many other parameters, but as far as cyber crimes are concerned, they are among the top. We from Tamil Nadu send our people and catch the flows from Jharkhand. What does it mean? The difference between the rural idyll or the beautiful iconic spots, the ultra-modern cities like Mumbai, vanishing. The seam or the wall is falling. That will be an important point I make. I'd like you to remember this and try to think and tell me that you have been wrong when you came on 17th of April and told us in Jaipur. I would be happy to be contradicted. What is the point? You are now working as police stations based on geography and turf. Do you think in the later years you will be continuing this way, or you will have to work functional? I've already told you the difference between the village and the town will vanish because all the technology available in the city are available in the village. If the crook is moving to the technology, your job is to be where the crook is. Your job is not to be a benevolent, smiling, grinning cock. You have to be chasing him, and he is already sitting on the cyber platform, and cyber platform is all over. So where is the question of being only on geographical based jurisdiction? You may ask me, even before the question answer session, where do I do, where can I sit? Already some of you are doing it. You have created, like Shiva, I know when he took over Bombay, what condition it was. What all responses he had. Force 1 was one sample, how he made it and rejuvenated it and put some juice into it. Like that, several things he made. Responses to the situation and futuristic also. So what will happen? What I am trying to say. Supposing in a remote village in Jodhpur, far away, or that bulge near Jaisalmer, something is happening, you can't send your special forces all the way from Jaipur. You can have A, B, C grade forces of response. So I am saying, not be police station, but emergency response station. This sounds radical. Don't think that I am pulling it out of my dream and talking. Nottinghamshire in UK already found that removal of some police stations, supposing 10 police stations are there, they closed 4 or 5, and they made it functional. They stationed the QRTs in the right places. What are the QRTs? You have to list out the places you are all maximum facing, because you can't be in all 360. Policemen are wanted everywhere, like air, you are in demand, but you can't be everywhere. You are like oxygen cylinder. You should go to the most critical care and union first. So in prioritizing, you will say, what are the threats? Cyber threats? Okay, I will have cyber expert sitting in Delhi. I have to be in Rajasthan. He can be sitting in Bangalore. It can be sitting in Newark. As long as his confidentiality is there, is going trustworthy, he can operate A grade man or A plus. B grade man I will have in Jaipur, I have C grade. But it is essential to have a categorization, placement, so that 1 minute drill of fast response is the concept. It is the muscular one, here it is digital. Non-muscular, digital. Stephen Hawking is talking about artificial intelligence, use the word intelligence explosion. So the explosion should not hurt us. Without explosion, we cannot make dam and structure. Alfred Nobel never imagined the destructive capacity of what he has invented. So, what will be the upshot? Imagine scenario where the geography is erased. Because today, military theory is geography decides history. Not today, yesterday. Genghis Khan was able to cross, he changed the topography to his advantage. Crossed the rivers where they were frozen. He went in extreme cold conditions and nobody imagined a human being could move. He allowed his men to carry his family and he given them 5 to 6 ponies. So one family, 5 to 6 ponies. Finally, as they moved, the 6th pony was cut into pieces and eaten and shared by the whole lot. So it became the food, became the accommodation, it became the transport, it became the body, and it was a good warrior also. They were born on the horses. They could turn like any other human being and shoot with arrows with such deadly accuracy. This thing is not a diversion. I am talking about tactics. Tactics is a small step to achieve strategy. Strategy has got tremendous constraints. If you don't sharpen your strategy, you will be under a delusion. It will not be a realization. So, what happens with technology? You are now talking about FIR, you are talking about 154, 155, 156, recording statements and so on. Those days, Shiva will know. We had the grave crime reports as ASPs. Grave crime means a murder, robbery, dacoity in certain categories. We have to personally go on the thing and guide our officers. The GCR reports will be sent by an express messenger. We used to have a word in Tamil Nadu, express messenger, constable only. Nothing express about him. He is called express messenger. It will be written on that. He will be bringing. And he will come according to the transport available. We had some very odd places, unlike now. I am talking about 76, 77. I was in Tirunelveli. Sometimes it used to take, suit our legal convenience, to cut the corners, it will take a little more. Just like when you remand a prisoner, it includes the travel time. So to cut it down, somebody came with the idea of telegram also to come. Telegram. So the GCR will be coming in crisp telegram. 3 people murdered, this community, counter 2 murdered. By the time we start mobilizing and going, things would have happened. But today, the FIR need not be generated in that. It can be generated on a telegram, other telegram, or Instagram, or WhatsApp. And you will not be able to say, no, you didn't come. Because today, the digital trial and digital presence is there, omniscient, omnipresent. You cannot deny the consumer, because ultimately we are here to serve society. It's a very odd demand. They will ask more of you. They will ask more productivity from you. Therefore, a WhatsApp summons will be enough. Send you a constable first. Because WhatsApp, once it is uploaded, I don't mean WhatsApp as such, not this Zuckerberg. Any other application. It could be a state like UPI has become one of the top in the world. You know that India is among the top in UPI? Americans are wondering, how do they manage the UPI? What payment, something like that. Huh? All right. So this kind of templates, if it's made available and people just access it and give you, I have been violated, I have been molested, I have been robbed, mugged, we will have to respond. So that is the thing of the news. So the first point I made of this about the artificial intelligence, how it is going to impact, I also meant it is not necessarily a threat, it can be plus point. I'll give you an example. Years ago, 20 years, 25 years ago, Trans World Airlines with Americans was suffered a huge tragedy, bombing. A lot of people died. But the pity is, just like in this other one, 9/11 happened, there was enough intelligence, but they could not collate and compile and study and take the quintessence of intelligence. What happened was there are files and files of intelligence, Arabic, Pashtun, Dari, and some other language. They didn't have the interpreters to study it. Today, you don't require it because there is a digital translator. To push it, called LLM. I also acquired a LLM degree, so which you mentioned. Not been very argumentative in the courts. I have not done anything with my 3 degrees in the law. But I realized this LLM is something else. Large learning models. You shove in this 700 pages or 700 volumes, within few seconds, few minutes, you will get the gist of it. The keywords, key regions, key suspects, everything. So, data lie. That is why somebody said in a jocular manner, make the bot, robot bot. Make the bot your brother, algorithm your uncle. To survive tomorrow's world, befriend them. Don't try to be like an ancient man, an anachronism, sticking to the old. When you have tradition of 74 years of service to the society, you should have the thing to get out, keep the tradition on one side for its plus point, and embrace individuality, embrace the modernity. That is a challenge for us. So, if you ask a head constable in the future, I will give you 9 men, or you want 3 cameras, more alert and tell you, alert you. So you keep 2 men as a standby and 3 cameras. Which you think he will prefer? Which you think he will prefer? Because we are tribal, we are putting on khaki, do you think head constable will say, no, give me some, and I love men, I am very compassionate, I am a human resource manager, I like to deal with them. We will simply say it's a survival matter. If these 3 cameras are able to do well, these 2 men are able to react to the emergency in case there is an alert, that is better. Long back, where the Romans were invading somewhere, the geese, which made quacking noise, alerted the invasion. This is in history. But later on, When I saw a Valentine bottle, it's Scotland, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm very curious to know what is inside the stuff, but what is outside also, what is the label, what's the connection. So I came to know, okay, so my thumb is alerted now. All right. So in Valentine whiskey distillery, 30-40 years ago, I read in the security books, they had geese, not only watchmen, geese. The geese, quack, 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 they're given some meat or whatever little thing to eat. They are more alert than the man. So the comparison, who is more alert? The geese were more dependable, and once in a while false alarm. Supposing there are 3 threats, they will make 4 alarms. That's all right. But it is better the 3 threats and only 2 alarms, because the 3rd alarm would have been the most dangerous and you would have been finished, not living to tell the tale. So in the place of the, you have this kind of systems, cameras, artificial sniffers, and so on. Therefore, tendency for any supervisor, including the SP, including the DG, will be to ultimately say, you will not say, I'm very happy with my 1 lakh 1 man, not you. Or your successor may say, okay, you want to cut the thing? Because government, this is an important point. Government, for various reasons, any government, various reasons will appear to be embracing and giving you more jobs. But no sensible government will be wasting all the money just to increase the population of the police. They will ask for accountability, and if they are able to manage 1 lakh, one I will remove. I am not talking about Rajasthan. Let me talk about Tamil Nadu. I will make the context different. 1.5 lakh or something, 6 lakh. Suppose they say you do with 80 lakhs, but I will give you all the gadgets. The DG is assured that that will be more efficient, likely to follow. This is the thing of the future. Therefore, the government is not born, appear to be giving jobs at the same time. When they are answerable to the public, every money counts. Why am I saying this? Look at National Highway. Look at Bangalore Post Office. I'll give you 2 illustrations happening today. Bangalore Post Office, a model post office is constructed, 3D. 3D, you know, 3D construction. Everything is mixed in a different way and machines are mixing 3D. 30 to 40% saving. Let us say 1/3 of the saving. Supposing 3 lakhs have to be spent for a building, now they are spending only 2 lakhs. Any postmaster general or any minister of post office will approve, say, yes, this is better. Nobody will ask you whether the 100 people who are there, laborers have lost the job, why don't you give them job? That will be another area, political area, social area. But this will be the tactical area, not the ethical area. There is a difference between tactics and ethics. Whoever wins writes the history. The Greeks are smart. Persians are chariots. Greeks went up the hills of the rocks. Persians could not chase them up. Giving you one battle story, one battle history. Tactics and ethics may be. And whoever wins will lay down the rules of the warfare. Arrow was shot, first time arrow bone. Everybody said, timid man, you are a weapon of the weak. Today, terrorist experts are calling terrorism is a weapon of the weak. It is pointless to give slogans and say he is a weak man, therefore he is using. Point is whether he is killing you or not. He is able to amputate you, he is getting your legs thrown up. It's effective, finish. Let's not talk. Let me shoot the next arrow towards a rainbow. I will take a rainbow and very quickly try to come because I don't want to encroach too much. It will be nice enough to say 5 minutes. जितना भी फिर तो हम कंटिन्यू करेंगे और they will kill me. No. I'll try to be little. Okay. So, for crunching information, for giving you strength, more muscle, brain muscle, you require these kind of allies, both algorithms. The point is, if you allow them to dominate, you are gone. So what is the arrow I was shooting? I told you about rainbow. I will quickly give this acronym WebGR, which is very fond of. I made it in 2008 when sitting in NPA, and lecturer used it. WebGR, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Everybody knows. This is the WebGR of crime, rainbow of crime. Violent crime is a street crime. Very simple. Mugging. Somebody uses violence. Indigo, I for invisible crime, where economic hemorrhage was worse than the normal hemorrhage. So we are Krishna, invisible crime. Those times, other frauds. Today, an extreme level, cyber frauds. A chap sitting in Nigeria is able to hack into the entire world. And incidentally, aircraft which went missing, when the advanced countries could not find it, the Nigerian, one of these so-called backward fellows, would try to help them. So there is a flip side to the whole story. So, talking about FGR, violent crime, invisible crime, dangerous digital crime, etc., will come under invisible crime because you don't see the culprit. No, digital trace is there, but no other physical fingerprint footprint. Then you got the blue collar crime for blue. Then you got the green crime. What is a green crime? Ecology. Tomorrow, if China is building 2 dams, damn, you're finished. If in Portugal 20, 30 years ago, 2 states within Portugal were having espionage planes to watch out, who is stealing water, like Kaveri Tamil Nadu dispute we had between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, slightly better position now. So they were watching each other and stopping. So ecological crime will be the. What is yellow crime? Yellow is ambient color, you can call it. So you can, yellow is this pornography, you can have human trafficking, you can have body parts, you can have all these other things, child pornography, various type of in the yellow, the literature. Then orange is an ambient color, it's a combination of red there in between. What is that ambient thing? To have the domestic violence in the door between the contractor and the contractor, the boss and the subordinate, workplace harassment. Incidentally, during COVID, all of us know that cybercrime was huge because no criminal go around the street because you guys, policemen, were stopping them and taking them out of the road, and you guys were the front end soldiers. Criminal could not move, only the cyber crimes, criminals could move, the ETA. So those guys, there was a expert world study, I'm not talking about India, but they were the spy. Where was the second spy? Second spy, unfortunately, was on domestic violence. Because I think the guys were cooped up all the time together, they had enough of each other, there was enough of domestic violence. This is from, not India, I'm not pointing India, I'm talking about the general study of the world. So, and then finally you have the red, which is red. Violence due to terrorism, violence due to insurgency, violence due to ethnic clash, and so on. Because blood is a currency of war, according to Clausewitz. That will continue. Self-annihilation philosophy or the mood of the human being, crushing each other, will not go away, and they are not going to be saints too soon. So what did they say so far? I said geography is very important till yesterday, but not be the emergency response team kind of police. Nottinghamshire, which already happened, I told you, one instance. Others are studying, and if they find it is more beneficial, people are going to fall in line. The difference between rural and town is vanishing, I told you, because the quotation long back was in Algiers. There was insurgency going on. Bomb in the basket, Algiers. Bomb in the basket, aircraft is bombing, or in the basket something is dumped. That is much more precious than killing 1,000 people in a village. I forgot the name of the village or the river they were telling. That is a quotation. I remember reading it long ago, but this word is not coming. 1,000 people you kill far away. This one bomb in city, this is far better. Why? Because of the amplification of media. That amplification of media is no more there because micromedia has emerged. Digital transformation has made the villager equal to the city man. So propagation can happen with the equal speed. Why did he say strike an arrow at the rainbow? I'm saying in the rainbow context, color, combination, the combo is changing. So within the rainbow, certain crimes may not be that important. It will be cyber crime. Question is, can police do the entire cyber? So I am coming to the next point, that police will have an identity. What is policing? Is it only thing that Kaki is doing, or is it anything policing done by anybody else? So we make the bot as your brother, an algorithm, as uncle. So you ally and take others into your embrace and say you work. So the theory is the front end perception will be done on outsourcing the police station, this work. The rear end will be the geeks, the technological titans. The middle portion will be the control room and things like that. So where are you and I going? Where is Umesh? But team going? We will be all on the prowl, on the move, handling the crisis, because whatever the technology does, it cannot erase, like I told you, your presence. You will be moving from petrol point to petrol point, because you, cell phone, you will have everything, all forensic. Today it has got about function. These functions will improve. You don't have to go back to the police station to feed the information. The information will be spread continuously. That LLM I told you will be able to give you simple formats in which you have to punch only. It will become user-friendly, constable-friendly. The difference between constable's education levels, knowledge levels, and the top man's levels will slowly will narrow down. But it cannot be the same. It will never be the same. Skill, knowledge, standards of behavior. I don't call it attitude, because attitude is a word. It's got a very philosophical import. I'm not talking about integrity or that in that sense. I'm talking about standards of response. This situation, this is how we act. In all these three, there will be very dynamic changes. So, I mentioned to you, now when you are embracing the other fellows, smart fellows outside to help you, sometimes he may have to be paid more than chief secretary or a minister. This situation we had with G.K. Pillai as the Home Secretary. We have to employ a chap called Raghuraman, Mr. Raghuraman, at grade. Raghuraman's demand was very high. It was 5 times, 6 times more than any chief secretaries anywhere. But G.K. Pillai was objected to. A whole lot of bureaucrats jumping on him and said, how can you think of it? So the file came back. He wrote one line. He's a different species. We cannot compare him with ourselves and stop. All right. Coming to the last part of my summing up. The police will have to go more digital. Require what we need to do, our response. We need to do more. The cyber physical wall is going away, so we need to be more on the cyber side. Private security is going to outgun you. It has already happened in the countries. Private security. The private public space is increasing. When I was driving through yesterday, more number of malls and big. Who controls the malls? Are we controlling it? We are controlling it as a sovereign authority elsewhere. But who is controlling it? Private security. And he is also having a protocol. He says, remove your shoes, remove your belt. Everybody quietly accepts it and submits. So where are we going? These private security is our partner. We cannot treat them as our enemies. This will increase. Those fellows may be able to equip very fast because they are on an economic kind of a chase, competition. So the states will have to be smart, equipping us also so that we can co-op them better. Otherwise, we'll be a junior partner, which will not happen. When I'm talking about artificial intelligence, the threat which is happening, European Union is already very much. They're saying what kind of regulations we. Oh, this is dangerous. This intelligent super brain is too dangerous. It can wipe us away, butcher us. So there is a lot of consciousness and awareness about it. So we need to have basically 3-4 responses. I promise this will be the that abandonment or giving away. Abandonment, Peter Drucker's word. Sermon. Remove whatever is irrelevant. Consciously look into what is irrelevant. Try to remove it. Boost the morale earlier, and now boost the morale through skills. Skill up. I mentioned one thing. If you can make all your constables very good in cardiopulmonary, achieved a great deal. If you have made all your constables somewhat aware of cybercrime, you have a great deal. If you are making them aware of something, what not to do with a bomb, you would have achieved a great deal. I wouldn't go into the list because you've got a brilliant team here in Rajasthan. You can make what is relevant to you out and focus there. In this, when I mentioned that man, the constable or anybody should be going from scene to scene, this is again not from imagination, this is from practical things happening in the UK. If we don't co-opt private brilliance, our system, because we are here to serve the society, we are here not, as Max Weber said, to self-perpetuate a bureaucracy. Here that because we are cocky, we are good and we are very sacrificing in our nature, we want to survive. No, that cannot be the argument. You are all good. Nothing like cocky, I told you in the beginning. Tourist. They gave us the dirty color because you can dirt, muck, because it was the invention of the British. In India, cocky is our own word. Just like I mentioned to you about this Scotland and the Scotch and Ballantyne, I would like to end up by saying, working. All of us know the word working? Working. It's called working. Working. Working is the first thing we are told when we enter. Don't work, but work will continue. Where is the word work? It also came from Scotland, I believe. That is, there's one killer, I don't remember his name, he used to go and kill silently, quietly, and pushing it down. Pushing it down and killing quietly, killing the crime was a very neat method of working. That cannot happen in tomorrow's world. If we are going to go without a strategy, then execution is a delusion, like slightly altering what I told you earlier. It's a gun without a bullet. If you are not able to befriend, fail, make the artificial intelligence and developments as a friend, go without an arrow. To sum up, the poorly skilled among us will be marched to the slaughterhouse. Therefore, we need to be part of a dynamic group which will policemen, police, great, surviving, making others. So we should live not for ourselves alone, to make sure the glorious police force of Rajasthan has been playing a 75-year role of brilliance. And for future brilliance also, we need to be thinking and working. Specifically, skilling up, making the man better. Like in Australia, policeman is given 3 types of driving. Minimum you should know C, that normal driving of a 4-wheeler. Some parts of Australia, not the entire Australia. One particular state is a model. Koshi told me years ago. Then B, that is chasing a thief, that is called speed driving. Then A, offensive driving, offensive, very superior category, securing a VIP right. Skills are graded, accreditation is going. We have got good people. I have never seen more compliant, more obedient, more sincere, more affectionate subordinates than any other force. Not that I have seen much others outside. Father was a policeman, in police throughout. But watching other hierarchies, I believe this is the most intimate, most reliable, wonderful society. Most sacrificing, very, very low profiles. They are high profile in appearance. Achievements we don't talk. There is no, including me, there is no retired or post community which keeps branding ourselves and pushing up, hyping what all we did. It's a fantastic group in the community. So if we need to be more relevant, the police leadership need to ally with the mission and improve the last man. Thank you all very much once again for your patience.
I would like to thank Shri Vijay Kumar Sahab for giving us a peep into the future, for telling us about how jurisdictions, how geographical borders will blur, and how technology and skill will play and interplay another prime requirements of the future. Sir, to the other speakers, I would like to make a request, sir, that there is no other program which is scheduled after the seminar, and we had given some timings in the program. That was just to structure the program. It is indeed a privilege and a pleasure to listen to you. So it's like there is a starving man and you say, I will give you only this much food. So there is no issue about timing, sir. We are really looking forward to hearing from all of you, sir. And I request that let us not be bound down by the program that has been given in the schedule, sir. My it's a privilege now to introduce our next speaker. Shri Shantanu Mukherjee joined the Indian Police Service after his post-graduation in modern Indian history from the University of Allahabad. After serving with distinction in various communally sensitive and trouble-prone districts in the state of Uttar Pradesh, he went on central deputation to the Bureau of Security in the Ministry of External Affairs and worked tirelessly for strengthening the security apparatuses of the Indian diplomatic missions. He then went on to the Special Protection Group for the Prime Minister, and he worked out there for 7 years. Later, he was inducted into the Cabinet Secretariat, where he served at home and overseas on special assignments vital to national security interests. After retirement, he served as the National Security Advisor to the Prime Minister of Mauritius from 2010 to 2015. Since returning to India, he is a security analyst and commentator, sharing his views as a columnist on security-related issues in national and international dailies and a guest speaker on security topics. Shri Mukherjee was awarded the prestigious Indian Police Medal for Meritorious Service in 1989 and the President's Police Medal for Distinguished Service in 1999. Besides his professional pursuits, he enjoys traveling, music, writing, prose and poetry, and reading good literature in Hindi, English, and Bangla. He has also edited 2 books on the Bhagavad Gita and the Kishikinda Kand. He has also written a concise book on the compositions of Guru Dev Rabindranath Tagore. Presently, Shri Shantanu Mukherjee is advisor NatStat, a professional think tank on matters of geopolitics and security. It is indeed an honor and privilege to invite Sir to address this august audience.
Good morning, everyone. I'm much indebted to DGP Sri Umesh Mishra for having invited me to address this August gathering and participate in today's event. First of all, heartiest congratulations to all members of the Rajasthan Police Force for the Rajasthan Police Divas. And I'm a proud person to be involved with it. Second, I'm very privileged to share the dais with stalwarts like Sri Vijay Kumar and Sri Shivanandan, and I'm a minuscule figure as compared to their intellectual prowess, as you may have noticed from Rajasthan has a glorious past, commonly known to the people as a state of valor, about gallantry, about neutralizing the invasions coming from the western side. But the police force, the history which I've got and I know, is one of the humblest yet toughest. And I make this claim on the basis of my own interaction in the early 80s, when I was coming from the SPG to interact with the police professionals of Rajasthan, particularly the intelligence branch. They were all stalwarts, they still are. I can see the promise on your faces, the radiance. And I had a boss from Rajasthan, Sri Devendra Singh, very inspiring leader, was your DP also. So, very proud to be associated with this. Mr. Vijay Kumar spoke a lot of intellect as unexpected lines, and for a relatively mediocre person like me, difficult to comprehend. Exactly adhering to the textbook request of the challenges that we are facing today in India or for the Indian police, I would like to be touching upon those. And these are my, as a security analyst, you can say, are my personal thoughts what pose challenges to them. One is I loathe to use the word Khalistan, but the separatist activities in Punjab. It was very pronounced when we saw in February a person was trying to imitate the figure of the 80s, try to be iconic, to mislead the present Sikh population, who are totally committed for an integrated Punjab. Nevertheless, this is a threat and a very serious threat, particularly more when they are trying to use religion to hide their activities behind as we saw the escape from Ajnala in February itself, the large police force which was there failed to intercept. As a policeman, it is of course I am bound to react on such things. Second thing, the attempts. All right, you can say the international disturbing happenings are taking place in the UK, in Australia, in Canada, US, etc. When the missions are being attacked and there is an adverse public opinion prevailing, but it has a cascading effect on the police here. This spillover effect, the vicious effects, cannot remain untouched in other parts of the country. So this remains a challenge. But ultimately, as Mr. Vijay Kumar was saying, all the muck has to be cleared by the police. It comes to police again, whether it is Rajasthan police, MP police, or Tamil Nadu police, what's happening. The law and order challenge needs to be dealt. And this has to be coupled with a very muscular diplomacy, which unfortunately is lacking. And that is how it is getting internationalized. There are officers posted in various missions abroad. And as a policeman and an ex-cop, I fail to understand how could they go and attack Brisbane consulate despite all the heavy security and fortification there, but an intelligence exchanges. Having mentioned intelligence, it is also our intelligence quotient which needs to be stepped up to deal with both within the state of Punjab and abroad to neutralize that by timely interventions. And therefore, seek separatist by a handful of elements remains a challenge. You all know about Sri M.K. Narayanan, former NSA governor and a very well-known IPS officer based in Chennai. He writes, and I would quote, "In large parts of the world, liberal values are already embattled. India should not yield to the temptation of resorting to hard measures without understanding the true causes and join the ranks of nations that solely believe in strong arm tactics. India needs to effectively convince the rest of the world of the threat posed by radicalized forces such as the KLF and the SFJ." And I quite agree with him. But ultimately, it rests with the police to take the initiative to ensure that adequate tranquil prevails and the states remain unharmed. This is the first where I feel in terms of priority is a principal challenge being faced by the law and order agencies here. Next, you may be thinking that it is all very common knowledge when I say that terrorism is a challenge. No doubt it is a challenge. But we should see that it's a renewed attempt by our inimical quarters to unleash terror. Ever since 5th August 2019, abrogation of 317 in Kashmir, we have seen a decline. I'm not trying to say that because of the abrogation it has declined because of the vigilance of the security forces, their offensive actions. Whereas we don't see much of stone pelting on the soldiers, and relative peace and calm remains there. So the forces hostile to us are stepping up. We have reliable information of fomenting terror in different forms, which had hitherto not seen in the recent past. You may like to recall in 2006, 7 and up to 8, Lashkar-e-Taiba was very active and they were going for the intellectuals also. They were going to the CRPF camps. 1st January 2008, CRPF camp in Rampur Group Center, are well known. So I apprehend that such type of activities could be undertaken by those forces by unleashing cross-border terrorism. And more so, to divert attention from the Pakistani ISI, which is beleaguered with host of domestic problems which is threatening Pakistan at the moment. You know about the Balochistan, the terror killings in Peshawar, in Karachi, where police are the targets. This happened in the last 2 months, killing over 200, 300 people, all cops and their family members. So divert attention and start a new front within the India, which calls for extra alertness by the police, and it remains one of the challenges for us in the near foreseeable future. That's what I perceive. Another thing related to terrorism, which could be lone wolf attack or anything, we see radicalization. Once again, you all know that it is very commonly used, very loosely used, religious indoctrination. But in this digital world, or these modern technological activities, it is going to be very profound. We see that the effects after the advent of ISIS in 2010, we see a very marked rise in radicalization, and it refuses to abate, which calls for vigilance not only for Rajasthan Police with its glorious history, but holds good for other states as well. We know in the neighboring countries, say for example Bangladesh, in 2016 we saw Holy Bakery artisan case where about a dozen were killed, including one Indian. And earlier we used to have this thought that because a particular section of people who were socially deprived, uneducated, unenlightened, were drawn towards such terror-related activities. But no, this case, the bakery attack, I'm giving an stray illustration. We found all the perpetrators in the suicide mission, number one, belonged to very affluent families. They did not suffer from any kind of deprivation. And also, they were well educated in very sophisticated schools and colleges. The sociologists earlier in their archaic thinking used to say that unless you bring them into the mainstream, integrate them, they will continue to turn terrorists. But this time they proved us wrong, proved the sociologists wrong. It was them because they were glamorized by the ISIS, by the killings, and why Bangladesh? We saw Malaysia, we saw Indonesia, and even whites in the UK, they were drawn towards that. And we as security agencies cannot enter into any sense of complacency or lower our guards to overlook this. This is also a great challenge being faced by all of us here. Then we find that there are certain happenings in the neighborhood, the geopolitical happenings. We tend to ignore them generally. Like say, for example, I'll come back to Bangladesh again. The elections are here in late this year or early next year. A lot of political heat is generated there. and a particular party which is opposed to the present regime and opposed to Indian interests has heralded a much high propaganda to dislodge the regime. And they have the support, once again I would use the hostile quarters, support of hostile quarters or inimical quarters. And imagine once the government favorable to India is deposed or dislodged, then what do we see? The Northeast insurgents, the Ulfa, the Manipuri rebels, the Nagas, once again they and their leadership, number one, finding refuge on the Bangladesh soil, as we noticed pre-2009, as well as supply of arms and ammunition, which will see a remarkable increase and a raise into the insurgent activities in the Northeast, which is now thankfully quiet. So, geopolitical happenings in the neighborhood will contribute to the challenges of the police, what we are facing. Say, for example, Sri Lanka. We had the Easter bombings in 2019. We have credible information that all the perpetrators had some connections in a particular province in India and they had come there. Now you might say that the bombings were in the church in Easter and a particular community harmed the other. What have we to do? But suppose the remnants there and their linkages, we don't know as yet, it has not been unearthed for some reason, then resort to some activities, and it is the police, no other department, which has to take the brunt, as the police is doing today. Like Mr. Vijay Kumar said, that COVID also is your responsibility, cleanliness is also your responsibility, ensuring road safety is your responsibility. So that adds to that. Coming back to, say, radicalization, Maldives may not be in our immediate neighborhood. An island country of, say, touristic destination of 4 lakh population. The radicalization was so extreme that about 400 Maldivians got religiously indoctrinated through digital platforms and went and literally fought alongside the IS soldiers in Syria and parts of Iraq. Now this is something which is unheard of. You cannot think how much disproportionate. Indonesia, thank you. Indonesia is a big country, and if their soldiers are drawn there, but in the same proportion there was no response from Indonesia that many volunteered to go there, but in Maldives, yes. Now we know, historically speaking, in 86, 87, there was an uprising, and from Indian side also some mercenaries had joined. Suppose those indoctrination people, they come here and try to spoil even 1% of population, then it is disastrous. Police has to be alert on that, which I thought one should flag. Dr. Zakir Naik has been banished, went to Saudi Arabia, now in Malaysia, through digital. He may poison a lot. With our technological advancement and equipment at hand, with most of sophisticated things we are handling now, should be possible to neutralize such radicalization attempts at the right time so that we are having a safe situation, safe scenery in the country. Other than these challenges are of course very common, the organized crime, the crime syndicates, all those linkages, ISI activities which are there, their recruitment program. Now, talking about ISI, I touched upon that. As you all know, since 1948, when it came into being, it has really been a force to reckon with. And you are a bordering state of Pakistan, there is a setup which is very vibrant, must be well aware. It is absolutely fluid, and India is the only target. We, following the democratic traditions, never do anything without the consent of the government, as you know. But that is a state unto state unto itself. It can get the Indian currency published and get them quoted, what we call the FICN, using Bangladesh or any Nepal and all, infiltrate those currencies. Here you can't do anything. That calls for watch. Few years ago, I was addressing a gathering in Jhansi. Jhansi has a big cantonment, Babina, where this armored regiment is there. Field guns were being tested. And whenever the field guns were being tested, the district magistrate issued a warning circular to the citizens that such and such date this firing will be going on, so the civilians should stay clear. The private secretary to the district magistrate of Jhansi was on the payrolls of ISI. I was very intrigued to know what is the collector's office, the PA will do about it. But no, he would simply share the circular which gave the type of guns used, and that will go back to ISI agents and then to Rawalpindi, and they would know that these types of guns, medium artillery or whatever, or these type of tanks are doing this exercise. So they could penetrate the office of the district magistrate. And that is how they do. Often we come across in the paper that an ISI agent, a local resident of India, was caught in Meerut. He was taking photographs of the movements of the military vehicles. They went to Calcutta, the Garden Reach workshop. The contractor was there. Sorry, I am talking threadbare and absolutely nuts and bolts. The contractor, what kind of merchant ship is being prepared there in a ship? It must sound very primitive or very archaic kind of things. But I want to highlight that the penetration is that deep, that profound. They don't want to leave any chances. And as I had highlighted, because of the happenings within the country, it is time, according to my assessment, personal assessment, by them to try to needle, pinprick and hit out as much as possible, having failed in Kashmir in visible terms. The tough could be changed. Now, my assessment, my appreciation would be an exaggeration, but it is better to have an exaggerated account and then react than to overlook it. Kuch nahi hoga before it is late. And perhaps the intelligence community of the Indian police has to take this into account. Talking about the ISI, our intelligence agencies, who have been doing a stellar job so far, even yours, as the profession says, much of the successes are not visible, not seen, but tremendous contribution by them in preventing. Don't see much of the disastrous consequences because they don't come to the fore there. But in view of these changes and looming threats which I highlighted, they also need to up their antenna considerably using the most sophisticated technology and all these jargons and very solid views expressed by my senior colleague, Mr. Vijay Kumar. needs to put in place, and then a very concerted effort for each state at every level, even the LIU level, the local intelligence unit, should not be ignored. They should be given much tooth and fangs to counter anything happening. These are broadly some of the challenges which will be faced or being faced by our country today. There could be many, like cyber and all. You will discuss in detail tomorrow by the experts. Now, the last phase is about the way ahead. And I'm a much retired person in my mid-70s, not much fertile ideas to give away ahead compared to distinguished persons here, people with your very formative minds are very well informed. But the leadership, it's very good. The Mishra's leadership yesterday, Kamra Devi generated what in Hindi we call the Shalinta, the Shistachar, member of the Rajasthan Police Force, whom I have not met. The couple was traveling with me yesterday, Mrs. Mathur, I don't hesitate to name. And he struck a wonderful rapport, a kind of functional rapport, on the plane, off the plane, as if we know each other for a very long time. And I must credit the inspiring leadership here. And yesterday, I was an outsider. My face was not familiar here, not the name either. But in the high tea on the lawns of the police headquarters, each officer almost came up to me, greeted me, welcomed me, and I felt that I was not an outsider, very much accepted by the police force, hitherto completely under me. This kind of inspiring leadership is perhaps for everywhere. In Punjab, coming back again, I mean, not to find faults, but to bring some anecdotes into life. In 1961, the time Chief Minister Pratap Singh Caro was killed, and the Ashwini Kumar, the famed IP, who was the last to leave us a few years ago, was the IGP. There was no DGP then. He went to Nepal and arrested, am I right, sir? Sucha Singh, and there, without any formality. Same kind of action needs to be taken. Very inspiring leadership. That is the way ahead, which is being given all right, perhaps more vigorous and more this thing. Constability part, Mr. Vijay Kumar mentioned, which I'm totally in agreement with, grassroots people. Next is the accessibility of the police officers. Rajasthan, it is all right. You have a wonderful esprit de corps, very good bonhomie, harmonious relations. You are maintaining your traditions, I see, but not many. You will still have difficulty in getting an FIR lodged. These are the basic things. I've been attending seminars of the India Police Foundation, Mr. Prakash Singh interacting and everything, and we find that this is a shortcoming, accessibility. Not that 24 anybody knocking and coming into the bedroom, no. There should be a system in place there. And with a little more attention to the women, aggrieved women who come to get their grievances addressed, and to the elderly, particularly retired bunch of cops also and others of the high class. Thank you very much for your listening, and thank you once again, sir, for giving me this opportunity.
I would like to thank sir for a wonderful presentation, very direct and very appealing, sir. Now it is an honor to introduce our next speaker. Shri D. Sivanandan is one of the most highly regarded IPS officers in India, with an illustrious career spanning several challenging assignments during his 35 years of service. He has dedicated his life to the eradication of corruption and organized crime, and is renowned for his use of strategy and intelligence to uphold the rule of law. He retired as the Director General of Police Maharashtra. Before that, he served as Commissioner of Police Mumbai just after the 26/11 attack and went on to establish a world-class anti-terrorism establishment, which Shri Vijay Kumar Sahab had mentioned in his address. He also served as Commissioner of Police of Nagpur City and Thane City. Shri Sivanandan Sahab also played an important role in the anti-Naxal operations while he was DIG Nagpur Range. He has served as SP of District Satara and Sindhugarh. Sir played a very important role in breaking the back of the Mumbai underworld while he was posted for more than 6 years as the Additional and the Joint Commissioner of the Mumbai Crime Branch. Sir has had a varied and challenging assignment while he was on deputation to the Government of India. He worked as the Joint Director of the Central Bureau of Investigation, West Zone, headquartered at Mumbai from 2001 to 2004. Before that, he had a very satisfying stint in the Intelligence Bureau from 1987 to 1993. Sir has been and is on the board and has been the security advisor to many prestigious corporate houses and other institutions like the Reserve Bank of India, the Royal Bank of Scotland, Standard and Chartered Bank, Forbes India, Tata Consultancy Service, Bombay Stock Exchange. There are so many other activities. He is involved in so many other non-government organizations itself. He has co-authored a national bestseller, Chanakya, 7 Secrets of Leadership. He is at present the managing trustee of the Roti Bank of India, an NGO providing free food to the poor Indians. During the COVID pandemic, they delivered meals at home to more than 11 million needy people. Each meal was costing about 40%, about rupees 40 to 50 rupees. And they were giving added nutrition that they imported from Netherlands, so that the nutrition value of the food is good. Presently also in Mumbai, they are giving 12,000 meals per day. And this NGO is not only working in Mumbai, the Roti Bank of India, but so many other cities, as I was discussing with in Coimbatore, in Chennai, and so many other places. Sir is the recipient of the President's Distinguished Service Medal in the year 2000, the Internal Security Medal, and the Meritorious Service Medal in 1998. Sir, indeed, it is a privilege for us. I would now request you, sir, to please address this August gathering.
It on the screen. Good morning, my friends. The respected Director General of Police Shri Umesh Mishra and the ADG Mr. Sanjay Agarwal and Mr. Bhagwan Lal Soni and Sengadir ADG and so many others who are my friends, my batchmate, Sir Kelly Baines. I'm very scared of him. Before him, I can't even speak. So, and so many other friends who have worked with me, or I had the good fortune of working with them in the CBI particularly and in the IB. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, the DGP sir, for inviting me to be here on this momentous day. And we have been honored to be part of this glorious traditions of the Rajasthan Police. And you had a fantastic past, unblemished kind of past you had, and the present and the future is going to be more glorious than this. So with this, I would say that I'll take 35 minutes. I have the luck of being the third speaker, the last speaker. So I'll be prolonging as much as you dislike me. So I don't want to do that. I'll take only 35 minutes. But Mr. Vijay Kumar has covered all the future of what is going to be. And it is as good as reading that book by that policeman called The Future of Crimes. Mark somebody. He is a policeman from the USA. So with that, I will take you to the past, since the past is covered by future is covered by Mr. Vijay Kumar, and all about intelligence has been covered by Mr. Shantanu Mukherjee. They have covered the entire thing. Maybe I have become irrelevant, but still I will talk about some past. So can we have the PPT, please? I'm going to show you some pictures. No, I thought it, okay, thanks a lot. I thought it's going to come there. So, with that, I will say past, present, and future. Once upon a time in Mumbai, there are thousands of movies on this subject with the same title or subject, and these are the guys who had created terror. And then this is about, I'm going to talk about organized crime and 2611 as two case studies. I'm not going to talk generally about the police past, present and future. You all know very well, Google teaches you everything. So I'm going to talk about the past and two case studies only. Organized crime is an urban phenomenon and it revolves around economic activities. Money, 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 no religion or no other affiliation. In Rajasthan, organized crime may be little on a lower scale, but it's going to catch up as the economic activities grow up. So better one has to be forewarned and be prepared. Mumbai had the unfortunate distinction of having begun the whole business from 1940, 50, 60, 70 and up to 2000, 2001. Even today they are alive and active, but not that active and that alive. They're just below the eye level. So these are the mafia activities. I'm sure the varieties of mafia, sand mafia, land mafia, water mafia, forest mafia, and everywhere there is money, there is mafia. For example, in Mumbai, Thane and other places, water supply by the political and other contractors is a huge, hundreds of crores are being earned every year. And there is a political nexus there also. So with that, all these things are going to be around us, however much the scientific growth is going to be. And all this is the present. Present is this. Whatever crimes like terrorism they were involved and prostitution and smuggling and all that. In the future, whatever the list you can see. But I want to emphasize, as Mr. Vijay Kumar said, the entire activity is going to be cyber oriented. Like what the two predecessors of mine who spoke. Imagine alleged North Koreans working in Mauritius and sitting in the computer system of Bank of Bangladesh for 2 years to 2.5 years, and on a Friday they send a message to Federal Reserve New York, and on Monday morning they get $1 billion, little less than that, $830 million they got, and ever since nobody has been able to trace them, no dollar has been recovered, no criminal has been arrested. Why am I telling this? Is because this much money goes into the crime syndicates and they can invest in the futuristic computer systems like quantum computer and all that will be available in their hands. We unfortunately would be lagging 3 steps behind them. In India, so many banks have been attacked by these cyber criminals. One example is the Cosmos Bank of Pune. 16,000 swipes, they took 80 crores and the bank didn't respond, patch. They didn't do the patch. And after 3 days, another few swipes, they took away 14 crores of rupees. 4 saal to ho hi gaya hai. Not a single rupee has been recovered, not a single man has been arrested. Imagine, this is all not done by individuals. This is not pastime. This is not a 10-year-old boy. Syndicates, criminal syndicates, that's going to be the future. Of course, cyber technology is going to be used by them as a technology, as a weapon, also various other things as much as possible. Drone, you see what's happening in Ukraine and the kind of cheap javelin drones they are using and how the mighty Russians are paying a price for that. So here are the people who ruled Mumbai and also Maharashtra and also in a way India from 1940s onwards. Karim Lala, then Daud Ibrahim, son of a Havaldar, and Arun Gavali, Amar Nayak, Chota Rajan and various others. They do have roots all over the country. Mr. Mukherjee mentioned about the deep-rooted ISI contacts in India. Who better than Daud Ibrahim, who is ensconced in Karachi for a long time after the 1993 blast? Who better than him to give all the contacts necessary, whether it is Calcutta or Kanyakumari? So Daud Ibrahim's father used to be a crime branch Havaldar. He retired in 86. 12 siblings and this guy is somewhere in 7th or so. And he didn't cross 7th or so in the school either. 7th in number and 7th in education. But the guy left, I'll show you a little later, as 1984, he left for Dubai, and since then, perhaps he is owning a $12 billion assets. The most wanted criminal for the drug mafia declared by the United Nations organization related to drugs control. And he was responsible for the first ever terrorist attack in the world, which is the biggest at that time. That is 1998. That is after the Babri Masjid. And 12th March, the 12th March was the date. And 1996, that time, 4,000 kilos of RDX was brought to Dighi in Raigad, 2,000 AK-47 and 2,000 hand grenades, which we went on recovering for a long time. But still, some substance is there available in the country. And Sanjay Dutt was famously or infamously involved in that. 2 trucks were allegedly parked in his house, and he had access to 15 AK-47 and things like that. But what happened later is different thing. He's been convicted for 6.5 years. This is Dawood Ibrahim, alive and acting. His brothers are there in Dubai, and they have a live link with the country. And they can provide all the necessary support for ISI or ISIS or anybody who demands. Abu Salam is another person, worked with Dawood Ibrahim, came from Azamgarh and Pratapgarh, and then worked in the bomb blast also. He worked Mumbai bomb blast of 1993, and then he got convicted for that. And another, we brought him from Lisbon. I was in the CBI when he was brought from Lisbon. He terrorized the Bombay Bollywood, and perhaps he's got lots of money, a few $1 million stashed away in the foreign banks, and he's asking all the time that he be sent back to Lisbon because we brought him under an extradition treaty. He's still there in the Taloja jail of Mumbai. Chota Rajan was a partner in the movie Company. If you have ever seen, they describe their relationship absolutely beautifully. And then he was part of the gang, and after this 1993 blast, he allegedly donned a Hindu Don's role, and then he went away to Malaysia, Cambodia, sat in a yacht, and then continued his terrorist activities. There was an attack on him that showed the strength of the organized crime syndicates, that they can launch an international attack. On September 6, 2000, on his birthday, alleged birthday, he was attacked in Bangkok, where one Rohit Verma, who had killed Taqiyuddin Wahid, East West Airlines managing director, and that fellow had gone with a different name, and he was running a jewelry shop and had a safe house, let's call that. And this guy was staying there. He had come from Australia. On getting the intelligence, they launched a war on him by sending people from Mumbai and other places, and that was a deadly attack. Munna Zingada is one of them, and since then, 2000 September, still he is there in Bangkok, and Pakistan is claiming that he is a Pakistani, and we are doing all our level best. We have not been able to bring him here. So that is the kind of level of penetration these people have all over the world. So this is Chota Rajan, and this is Izaz Lakdawala, a petty time fellow, shot in the head in Bangkok, but he is alive. He is caught by Mumbai crime branch, and he is there in the jail now. This is supported by the political parties, the then very powerful political party, that is Shiv Sena. And they said, let's have an alternative from the other religion also to have an answer for this kind of a hegemony by the Muslims. This is how Arun Gavli became an MLA, and then we detained him for a long time, declared under voluntary disclosure scheme a few crores of rupees while sitting in the jail. Perhaps he has earned it. And all that, he is still in the jail under MCOCA for killing one Johnson Decker. But this guy and Dawood Ibrahim and others jointly had killed very many political leaders like MLAs and future MLAs and very powerful people, particularly belonging to Shiv Sena and BJP. And they were ruling at the time 95 to 99. Mr. Manohar Joshi was the chief minister, and Mr. Gopinath Munde, BJP, he was the deputy CM, and all these activities of attacking those powerful politicians took place at that time, and because of that, perhaps, they wanted to, the political support was there to cleanse up the whole place, which was infested from 40s, 50s, 60s to 2000. He is a VJTI engineer, very intelligent kind of people only get admission in VJTI. And then because of his brother's killing, he came into gangsterism. In one of the courtroom shootouts, he got waist below paralyzed in 94. He, with that condition, look at the police and the various other agencies, he went away to Canada, to London, and then came to Delhi and had a thriving narcotics business. He got his wife shot because she was in love with the police constable detailed in the Chief Minister's group. The Chief Minister was Mr. Narayan Rane, and then he got her shot and stayed in the jail for 6 years after that. He wasn't convicted. He got acquitted when he came back after 6 years. But all others involved in that shootout were convicted or otherwise they were neutralized. This Amar Nayak was another alternative for Dawood Ibrahim, supported by this fellow's wife and the other guy who I showed, Ashwin Nayak. Both of them, wives were Shiv Sena corporators, had a complete access to the powerful people there in Mumbai. So that is how the political nexus goes through. And this is a displaced mill worker by Mr. Datta Samant having stopped all the mills of Mumbai, textile mills of Mumbai. Millions of people were unemployed and displaced, and this guy is one of them. Arun Gavli's father was also, his Dagadi Chal, his headquarters is there next to Empress Mill, and this guy is from Lal Bagh, where I am staying now. So then again, he was encountered by the cops in Kolhapur in 2003. Subhash Singh Thakur is from Varanasi area, Balia area. He is 6 feet 3 inches tall. He was working for Dawood Ibrahim, obviously, and various others. And he had done so many shootouts. Particularly what stands out is a daring attack on 2 accused who were there in the JJ hospital ward, protected by another Thakur belonging to his village. A sub-inspector belonging to his village, Thakur, was there. He went with AK-47 and fired 657 rounds and killed and walked away, and used the Contessa car with a huge red light belonging to the president of Bhiwandi, Surya Rao. He got 10 years of conviction. Then, as part of the strategy, when I became the Joint Commissioner, we brought it on board and got this case convicted, JJ Hospital shootout. And he was given hanging, and various others were given life sentence. Later on, this was converted into life sentence, and he is there in the jail. And he used to look absolutely, with a black beard and young man, absolutely terrifying looks he had. This is from Lucknow, a postgraduate LLM, sir. I hope you don't mind sharing the honors with this guy. And he is a kidnapping king. For each one sitting in the jail, for each kidnapping, he charges no less than 5 crores to 3.5 crores. The best of college students, as Mr. Shantanu Mukherjee said, they were working, Delhi College and various other colleges. Boys like Sanjay Khanna, Vikram Vahi, Vikram Pant, and various others were tip of the tongue English guys. I had arrested and interrogated them. And one Vishwanath Mittal, a builder of Mumbai, was kidnapped, and policemen saw and alerted. We gave a chase, our policemen gave a chase and caught them, shot them, all that happened. That is where we have this insider information. Bablu Srivastava is still in the jail and very active. Now I wanted to show how daredevilry acts they used to say. Look at the date, 6 September 1983. This is the case in which Dawood Ibrahim was involved, and then he was produced in the court. And one set of criminals come there in the court, like what happened yesterday, Atiq Ahmad in Prayagraj, or little earlier, whatever happened. This happened in 1983. And look at this date. Again, within 3 weeks, the other set of criminals who had shot was brought to them. Lo and behold, the judge is there, the policemen are there, guns are there, they come and shoot and things like that. And after this, whatever arrests and all that, Dawood Ibrahim flew to Dubai. And after this 1993 blast, 12th March blast, this guy went away to Karachi, and since then he is staying. They say he has got lung cancer and things like that. But the point is, he is alive and he is still trying to control certain. This is that Akshay, Nayak, Ashwin Nayak, not Akshay, Ashwin Nayak, I showed you, the wheelchair-bound paralytic guy, below the waist, doesn't work, but brilliant brain, got all the cases acquitted. Another thing all of you should know is that all these criminals who are organized crime syndicate people, however many cases have been registered, all of them end up in acquittal. They had a powerful system of managing the legal system, and they do get acquittals every time. So that is what. So this is that attack on again a daredevilry act on this date, 8th March 1987. A very important gangster shot dead in the police lockup, Jacob Circle. 6 policemen were there. You know, normally in the lockup, there is only 1 policeman available at a given time and 5 others are at home or somewhere else. Perhaps that's what would have happened. But then nothing happened to the policeman. This guy was shot dead. They coolly walked away. This is a challenge to the law and order and the government and the others. That's what I'm trying to draw your attention. Datta Samant has nothing to do with gangsterism, but he was a victim, being a kind of a trade unionist of a firebrand variety. He was shot dead right outside his house. So this is also a victim. Gulshan Kumar, all of you know, even now very many movies are dedicated by his son Bhushan Kumar and his daughter-in-law Divya Kumar and others. He was shot dead. He had taken a police protection from the UP police, and on that day that policeman had perhaps some stomach upset problems, and he went to the temple which he built. There Abu Salam's people were waiting. Nadeem, if you know Nadeem Shravan, the music makers, Nadeem was involved in that. Since then he went to London and never came back. Our extradition attempt failed miserably, and that is Gulshan Kumar. There is another gangster killed in Chembur, but a policeman took responsibility and got a medal and things like that. But this is one of those dreaded gangsters. This is a shootout at Wadala. His name is Manohar Surve, Mania Surve as they call. Jan Abraham has acted as him, because when they fund and finance, they always look for a very handsome looking guy to play their role, so that the future people think that they are very, very handsome, but otherwise it is otherwise. This is that shootout at Lokhandwala. I am sure you had all seen that Mr. A. Khan, 1965 batch IPS, had a daredevilry shootout there. Maya Dolas and Dilip Bua and various other 6 others were there, belonging to Dawood Ibrahim gang. A movie has been made. Also live telecast was done when the action was going on. Mr. A. Khan is no more because of the COVID or later. So these are all these builders. The first 3 at least were worth 800 to 1,000 crores. Because of the alleged involvement or dealings or whatever it is, they have been shot dead. And the pinnacle is that more and more businesses, these people, some of them or most of them were involved in the Lena Dena between these people. So that is another problem of people getting involved for varieties of reasons in Hawala and various other transactions. These are the filth people. The whole country used to worry about them. Rakesh Roshan was given a warning shot, and then they had to go and meet them and settle it for whatever it is. And then some of them are dead. Rajiv Roy is alive, Manmohan Shetty is alive, Anil Tadani is alive. But then this is all just to terrorize the Bollywood and take out money from them. Perhaps this is all specialty area of Abu Salam, of course Dawood Ibrahim, and so many others. So here is a very important incident I want to mention in view of what happened in Prayagraj and other places. This is MLA from Samajwadi Party from Mumbai, originally from UP of course, Abu Azmi. And there was one boy called Javed Fauda who was shot dead in October 1997. And they alleged that he was not a gangster and was a fake encounter. And the petition was filed in Mumbai High Court. Justice Ranjana Desai, who became the Supreme Court judge later, was there, and they said another district principal judge, Mr. A.S. Aghyar, later he became the High Court judge also, he was to inquire about this and submit a report as part of this petition, encounter petition as they called. He investigated and said not only that was a fake murder, like your Hyderabad Sajanar case, but also 95 other encounters were fake. Imagine all these encounter specialists who are all coming in the movies and Netflix and all that, they had to go into hiding. From October 1997 to July 1998, when a transformation took place, they were hiding literally because they could not do anything about anything, whatever happened. This was taken as an opportunity by the gangsters, and they went around on a rampage and went on an extortion storm, I must say, and attacked everybody on telephone, VO, IP or VPN and various other things they used. And no marriage could take place, no car sales could take place, no flat purchase could be done, because instantly a call would come that you did this and so give us 50 lakhs or 5 crores, 10 crores and all that. Mumbai came to a standstill. It became like a Beirut. Imagine no marriages, no parties, no car sales and no flat sales. That's what happened because of this. But the story is, the turnaround story, the success story is that we promised to the policeman that we will take care of this case and win it by argument. One very famous lawyer called V.R. Manohar from Nagpur appeared free of cost for us. And we won the case and got a guideline, 6 guidelines, 6 steps to be taken in case of any encounter. That is done by Justice Ranjana Desai and one more judge. The very same case went into Supreme Court in appeal, and 14 years later, Mr. Harish Salve appeared for us free of cost again, because he is from Nagpur and very well known to us. And we won that case. Justice R.M. Lodha has given a day for yesterday in Indian Express, after this Prayagraj incident, they had given a full coverage as to what are the guidelines given by Justice R.M. Lodha. I suggest all of you could download and read Justice Ranjana Desai's order as well as Mr. Supreme Court Judge R.M. Lodha's order. Because in case any encounter takes place, you are supposed to be governed by that. You know what happened to Sajanar in Hyderabad. Supreme Court, very same Supreme Court ordered an inquiry and filed a murder case against him. But he was celebrated on the day of encounter. That is the warning I would like to give. So this is the situation. Gangsters ruled Mumbai and businessmen were killed in dozens. That is 101 businessmen, ladies and gentlemen, in 1 year. That is from 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s to 90s. By the end of a century, they had done 101 shootouts of people like Gulshan Kumar or Katav mill owner called Katav, no? Sunit Katav is his name. Millions of, thousands of crores worth, but getting shot in the middle of the road in the Mercedes Benz. So building industry collapsed, police morale was low because of the encounter petition, and 95 groups of people, the so-called encounter specialists, getting rap on their knuckles as a murder accused. And then car sales and marriage venue shifted. This was the situation. And because of this, Mumbai police and the awareness and the various other things was brought. Actually, July 1st, I went as joint CP crime. And nobody, of course, ever told me. I was working in Gadchiroli for 3 years, the Naxal affected area. From there, very affectionately they brought. No one ever told, no politician or no policeman told me as to what am I supposed to do. They said, Samajdar hai, samajh lega. So that's what happened. So this is how whatever strategies I'm going to say resulted that 101 to next year it became 48 and then 26 and then 13, and the success story is from 2002 to now, that is 21 years, there has not been a single shootout either by criminals or by the police. So that is the success story. And how do we do? Without doing encounters and by sticking to the law of the land, how can we do is the sum and substance of what I'm going to do. The story is strategy without, Mr. Vijay Kumar spoke about the strategy and tactics. These are the 7 strategies. We made a new law in 1999. Mr. Puri, our 67 batch officer, was involved. Our Mr. M.L. Sharma from Rajasthan, he was involved. He was consulted by us. I was part of the team, obviously. And we made a new law which is so special that police officers of the rank of DCP and above, SP and above, could record confessions and it was admissible. There is no other law where a policeman confession before a policeman is admissible. Telephone tapping can be done. This is a state law challenged by Bharat Shah of the cinema maker, that in Supreme Court, state has no authority to make the law that telephone tapping can be ordered, but it was upheld later. So this is MCOCA. I will talk to you a little later about that. If possible, one should aspire to have that in every state. We had detentions, that is MPDA, Maharashtra Prevention of Dangerous Activities Act. The police commissioner could detain for 1 year 12 days you go to government of Maharashtra, Home Department, and then go to High Court. 95% of the 1600 criminals we detained were approved by the High Court. Ladies and gentlemen, this is tremendous hard work. 1600 man years of criminals were spent behind the bars. Obviously, the crime has to be controlled. But unfortunately, what happened? All the encounter specialists had access to the press, media, and the cinema. They went around claiming credit and resorting to various other illegal means. They have met their fate. None of them are there. So, in that detention, we targeted extortionists who were making calls from South Africa, Kenya, and various other places by using technology. They were detained for 1 year. Then we arrested gangsters who were wanted in various criminals and expedited the cases in the court, and getting them convicted was stashing them away. Like I mentioned about Subhash Singh Thakur getting a life sentence or a hanging. That was a message to them that the law of the land can work if it wants to. Gangsters arrested. Then we had this brain wave of electronic intelligence. Always in Bombay, the movies showed when the action is over, the murder is over, the Mumbai police in their half trousers in blue and blue, they will blow the old whistle and reach the place. That is the way they ridiculed the Bombay police. But with this electronic intelligence of we taking the line of Dawood Ibrahim in Karachi, and also in Cambodia of Chota Rajan, and whoever is wherever it is, we had advanced intelligence, and we could wait for them to come to shoot either an Amir Khan or a O.P. Datta or anybody, Mahesh Bhatt or anybody like that. They were, our guys were readily available for them to face them. So that was the one of the ideas which worked. Otherwise, we used to have one line, and Indian and SIM card they used to change, and we were always behind them. Now we are ahead of them. As Mr. Vijay Kumar said, cyber is going to rule the waves. So they are advanced 3 steps away. We should be able to catch up with them for the future of policing. Firearms seize, ladies and gentlemen, there's so much of illegal firearms. Anybody will go and talk to anybody by putting a gun on the table, saying that Ata bol, that is Marathi. So that is how they began the conversation. We mopped 2,500 weapons in 2 years and 9 months. When the operation was over, there was no gun left and nobody to be neutralized. That's the situation in Mumbai. And the same Mumbai police was accused of being partisan, working on behalf of one gang or the other earlier. Remember that. Multiple movies have been made like that. Even if you see that Lokhandwala operation, allegedly Dawood Ibrahim is giving instruction to a police officer about going and shooting these people. So that reputation changed because it's the same police which worked very well for us. So the next one is the encounters. When they went and shot people without any impunity, that is 101 businessmen. If the policeman happened to be there and were having been shot at, okay, they also retaliated. The few number, I am just not justifying. I am justifying the legal action. But then again, when there was when they don't shoot, we also don't shoot. That is 22 years of record is there. Enacting MCOC, electronic, alert citizen, winning encounter, building a winning team. That is a very, very important thing, providing resources to the police, because otherwise the gangsters were providing. Then interstate CP's conference and inter-district conference, that is exchange of information. Our men were trained by the IB and various other organizations in Mumbai, and customs, DRI and various others we used to have, so that they would share. So this is the shootout with gangsters and criminals by the police in that period. Ladies and gentlemen, it was going on from 1940. So what I'm trying to prove is, if encounters is the solution, it should have been stopped in 1950, 1960, 1970. Why did it go for a long time? Why is it going on even now in the UP? It is because this is not an effective weapon. The other ones which I showed is the most effective one. So with this, it got completely stopped. This is from the police to the gangsters. And these are the criminals who peaked and did in 1998, 101. Before also they were there, but then this is the most important slide. This is that policy. The title given is wrong. This is that strategies which we have done. Detentions, if we can add all that, it will be 1,600. And look at the firearm seized, it will be something like 2,500. So that is how the police went into an overdrive. How does it happen? by encouraging them, by giving them rewards, medals. A policeman was shot in the stomach while an encounter or an operation was going on. Take care of him, get him a gallantry medal and appreciate him and all that. That is how the men were there. MCOCI will take 2 minutes. This is punishment for possessing unaccountable wealth. The families, they can be held. Special courts were there, disposable within 1 year, but now it is, even now I am getting, for 2005, sanction to prosecute, I gave as Thana Commissioner. As Mr. Vijay Kumar said, I get my summons to come and appear in the court on a WhatsApp. A constable sends that and expects me to go and give evidence in the MCOCA court. So jurisdiction, then power of special courts, then special authorization of wire. This is that contentious section. Now it is there. Review committee and then interception and that telephone tapping. Special rules of evidence. If fingerprint is there, if your saliva or any other evidence is there on the spot, it was assumed that the criminal has committed the crime. This kind of a provision is not obviously there in any other law. So confession made to a DCP or SP and above is admissible, and protection of witnesses like the American scheme, and forfeiture of property which is earned by criminal activities. Then modified application of various other things, and presumption and all this kind of things. One ACP. The main thing in this is the IO has to apply to a DIG or an additional CP. He has to apply his mind and approve the application. Then it has to go to his superiors and sanction to prosecute after the investigation. That is for application of MCOCA in an IPC crime. In that, the criminal had to have done 3 crimes in the last 10 years, cognizable, taken cognizance by the court, and those offences have to be punishable with 3 years of rigorous imprisonment. So many, I'll show you the figure. We could only register 9, 10, 11 cases in a year. We couldn't go into a rampage because of this. The other thing is the application of mind by the Additional Commissioner of DIG for applying this section, and the sanction to prosecution by an additional DG or the Commissioner of Police, for which you will be grilled in the court of law for a whole day. So that is what made people not to use this MCOCA. It's a draconian law. Once it was arrested, there was no bail. For example, Bharat Shah, the famous diamond diamond market chief, as well as cinema producer, he was arrested for having telephonic conversation with Dawood Ibrahim 3 times for 1 year. 19 months he was behind the bars. A sitting judge called J.W. Singh was arrested. 28 months he was there in the special lockup. So with this, that is the kind of message one could give. So these are all the various things. This is the only case I would like to say. Within 1 year of this law coming into being, twice Mayor Milind Vaidya, twice shot by the same organized crime syndicate. The second one, Azharuddin, came with AK-47 and spread, fired bullets. 3 people were dead. He was alive. Even now he is alive. But in this case, 10 people got life sentences and hanging, and a collective fine of 1 crore 5 lakhs. How it will be done, how they will acquire, the state government or the police will enact this, do this, comply with this is a different matter. But this kind of a punishment within 12 months of commission of crime did have an impact on them. So look at this. How many cases are registered? This is only Mumbai. Maharashtra also more or less equivalent that. Because understanding of the law and standing in the court of law, scrutiny of the judge has to be there. You can see a handful of cases only, and the number of criminals arrested is also very against Tada, Pota and various other things, Kofoposa and various other detention and other activities. This is absolutely minimal. In 1999 to now, it is standing there. Only Karnataka, maybe Andhra Pradesh and Delhi police, they have adopted it in toto, where other states like Gujarat has not been able to have that. This is my second example. It's 2611, all of you know, it happened in a very short time, and intelligence was there. The American Levy and one more guy has written a book, and also R.D. Pradhan and Mr. Balachandran, V. Balachandran IPS, their inquiry report is available, you can read. This is how they came, and this is the landing place. This is where Additional Commissioner of Police Sadanand Date, now he is ADG ATS. He was in the force one. Mr. Vijay Kumar is very fond of him. So he fought with the Iqbal and Kasab, both of them, and got injured. Two of his men were dead. And then whatever happened later. So this is that Kasab moving around without a bulletproof jacket in Chhatrapati Shivaji terminus. So this is that place. This is where Tukaram Omle ASI got shot completely. He took all the bullets in his stomach and caught Kasab. That was one of those first in the history where a live terrorist from Pakistan was caught. And we kept him. I was the commissioner of police after that. So 4.5 years in the jail. Our lawyer, who was paid 20,000 rupees per day for appearance, defended him for 4.5 years. And then he was hung subsequently. That is where the rule of law, the majesty of law was followed. This is some of the visuals to leave you. NSG came a little later, but then they were, the first time they indulged, first time they faced such a thing. Now, of course, they are rehearsing and all that. The equivalent of energy, carbon copy, is called Force One. Mr. Vijay Kumar mentioned. We developed. I was the CP. I went to Israel, brought those trainers and technology and all that. And that time Pegasus and Cognite were not there. But then whatever was there, we could bring. And this is the owner of the Taj. And this is how, this is that 600 crores worth of property was burnt. One general manager called Karamveer Khan, his wife and grown-up children were burnt alive. He was there in the work, but he couldn't go and save them. That is, again, Nariman House, this is that rappelling on the 4th day morning. NDTV and Barkadat and others announced so that Karachi fellows saw that and they alerted. The rabbi, the Jewish priest and his wife were killed in this because of this announcement by the TV. This is Gajendra Singh, Havaldar of Energy. He came down. On arrival, he was shot dead because the TV alerted Karachi, and one Abu Jundal, belonging to Maharashtra, was managing that control room there. He alerted our guys, the terrorists in Mumbai, and he was shot dead. Of course, you know Major Unni Krishnan. This is that Moshe, the son of that Jewish priest and his wife. Now he is 16 years old. So these are all the 16 plus 2 people who were martyred there on that day. So many individual valorous stories I can tell. Individual valor was, but then organizedly the leadership did not inform them as to what's happening, and because of that and the lack of bulletproof jacket and various other things, they all died. In this, 2 IPS officers are very legendary. One is Hemant Karkare, then Ashok Kamte. His grandfather was the IG of independent Maharashtra for 8.5 years. That kind of a boy. This is how we responded. 5 control rooms, 100 during day, 100 during night, QRT men trained by the Israeli commandos. This is that ACPs, 40 places where bulletproof vehicles were parked with 12 men inside fully armed. Bomb disposal was only 1. We got 13 of them now. Energy, we got a place in Marol so that they can come. We bought these bulletproof jackets instantly because immediate attack can come once again. So we got it as a gift from the builders, for which I was criticized. But then it's all right. But bulletproof vehicles were purchased from Mahindra. This is where that Captain Raghuram was there, and he used to come and meet me. We bought for 85 lakhs each for 40 pieces we bought. Fantastic. Even now they are running. And these are the vehicles. These are all, but this is also a bulletproof vehicle. And then this is Tata's, again bulletproof. And these are the new weapons we bought. Because the then commissioner mentioned they all had only access to 303. So we said, okay, we'll take whatever it takes. So these were all purchased during my time when I was, this is that sniper, American sniper as they call in the movie. So here is a Uzi and James, this one. This is the Force One. And fantastic force, never been tested. Inshallah, it should not happen at all, because they need not go through all those hazardous things. But then they are ready. This is how they looked when I was the CP. Lack of funds, but later they became smarter and smarter. Now one of the best forces in the country, and they can go and storm any place. Quick response, 1,500 people we trained. This is given by the Home Minister, Mr. Chidambaram. We bought also. We got 28 and we got 29 boats purchased. So these are all the changes we made. And since the time has run out, 43,000 people were medically examined, and we gave them books how to lead a healthy life. This is 1 crore free of cost, no government money, 1 crore, and 3 of them we made. I organized to make that, and 30 other gyms in the police station for 25 lakhs each, free of cost. The public paid because patriotism was running very high at that time. So, maybe even now. So here, these are all those Dharavi slum police stations, but air conditioned things they have. Now, I finished my time, so I'm aware of it. So I'll take 1 minute with the permission of the DGP. What is the ikigai? The Japanese say the reason for which you get up and run around doing whatever it is. This is my ikigai, ladies and gentlemen. I work for 15 NGOs. 10 companies I work as independent director is a different thing. That is my livelihood. But this is the ikigai. So here is, it was a food rescue mission before COVID. COVID came and everything stopped. All curfew was there. Nobody could move. But we ran 4 kitchens in Mumbai, borrowed from the restaurants which are closed. On a given day, 47,000 full meals we gave because of the migrant laborers were going to UP and Bihar and they had nothing. So these are the vision and all that. So we serve only freshly cooked meal now because COVID is again there. And this is the, each place is run by a DGP of the state. Cuttack is PM Mishra, 77 batch. Hyderabad is Ms. Aruna Bahuguna. Ahmedabad is Keshav Kumar, 1986. And Mumbai is myself, and Nagpur, Coimbatore and Chennai, my batchmate Latika Saran. So this is how, so far until yesterday, during COVID time, in the last 4.5 years, we have served 1,10,66,104 meals. Ladies and gentlemen, we are building the new India by giving 6,500 meals to the school children. Out of 12,000 meals we give in Mumbai, and they are fortified meals. We buy those products from DSM, an Amsterdam-based company. We add that to the roti and the rice, and they get protein and blah, blah, blah. They don't eat only starch and carbohydrates. And we tested and measured the growth of the children, stunting and wasting. They improved tremendously within 3 months. So this is the Tata Cancer Hospital. We give lunch and dinner for all the patients and the relatives who are outside there. This is a test. We measured this boy. He in 3 months put 3.5 kilos of weight. I'm sure if he had done a Mensa test, his IQ also would have gone up. But then, this is India, and we have to build a new India. And this is how we do. These are gifts, 10,000 gifts we gave for the New Year and Christmas. With that, I thank the DGP and all others for having been very, very indulgent. I have done 43 minutes. So I've taken more time. Sorry, I came in between you and the lunch. Thank you so much.
I would like to thank you for a wonderful presentation. The way the underworld activities were crushed by strategy and tactic under the established rule of law, and the follow-up on the 26/11 attacks in Mumbai. And of course, the Roti India work that has been going on is extremely inspiring, and it kind of, as you say, ikigai. So everybody needs an ikigai, and it's extremely inspiring for me personally, and I'm sure for the audience also. Now we move on to the question and answer session. I would request all members of the audience that if you'd like to ask a question, please raise your hand. We'll take questions one at a time, and an usher will bring you a microphone. We have limited time, and it will be our endeavor to field as many questions as possible. So I will request you to be as brief as possible. Those asking questions may please introduce themselves by letting everyone know your name and the work you are presently engaged in. In case you are looking for a response from a particular guest speaker, then you may mention it. Now, I would like the audience to please ask questions from the eminent panel. We have Rahul Kotakita. He is IG Crime. IG Crime in the Crime Branch, Police Headquarters.
Very good afternoon to you, sirs. At the very outset, thank you all the 3 guest speakers for enlightening us on your various expertise which you've gained over the years. I've had the honor of working as a probationer, in fact, being trained under Shri K. Vijay Kumar sir, sitting on the dais today. And from what I know is he's a thorough professional. I still remember the 1-minute drills that he had taught us way back in 2008. So you still look the same. I'd like to compliment you for this, except for the fact that your hair has turned grey, but so has mine, sir, over the years. But I can tell you, sir, I'm not half as fit as you are, even as you've mentioned that you've hit the wrong side of 60s. Perhaps you're touching 70s now, but yet I'm not half as fit as you are. So all compliments to you, sir, for keeping that fitness regime going. Sir, I have two questions. One, I would direct my question towards E. Shivanandan, sir. So you've talked about organized crime, and you said during your inaugural address that Rajasthan, as yet, we've not had much of organized crime, but unfortunately, we've had a series of events in the past where organized crime has reared its ugly head. There have been incidents in Sikar and elsewhere in the state. You've also talked about Dawood Ibrahim, Ibrahim Kaskar and others. So my question is, what prevents the government from extraditing these people, Ibrahim Kaskar and others, who've been away? We know they are dreaded gangsters. They've been, in fact, Dawood Ibrahim has been declared a global terrorist, and if I'm not wrong, $25 million is declared on his head. Yet something prevents us from bringing him back to the country and doing justice to this dreaded gangster. Plus, the second part of my question would be, again, towards, I would like you to answer the question. Why don't we have a set mechanism in place where we could get these cases expedited? In your, I saw that in your speech, in your presentation, that there are 70 cases pending against Chota Rajan, who's with us now, who's here in India, he's in jail. Yet it's taking a lot of time to get these cases expedited and finally deliver the judgment. And the last part, sir, of my question is towards Shantanu Mukherjee, sir. I belong to the Northeast, sir. You've mentioned in passing reference about the Ulfas and the Sulfa. I would not like to go into the nitty-gritties of it, but my question for you would be, what has happened in the recent past? Because Khalistan movement was, in a way, there was a lull in that movement, and we've noticed over a period of a couple of years or so that it's picked up all of a sudden, and there has been a lot of activity going on. So my question would be, sir, how do we sort of prevent these activities, and how do we nip the problem in the bud, as it were? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rahul.
Yeah, I will take the opportunity to answer first because you mentioned my name first. One is why these criminals are not being extradited as fast as possible. There have been cases where these guys were given on a platter. Like the Ujjain police gave Vikas Dubey to the UP police. The same way, Singapore gave us Bablu Srivastav. And also we had a kind of a treaty, informal or whatever it is, with Nepal. We gave away so many people in Mumbai. I have given to them, they come and quietly take away and whatever happens. Same way with various other countries also we had. But certain countries like Bangkok, MLAT process is time taking. I am involved in bringing this Munna Jingada. Until last year I was working for the government of India, going there and negotiating and all that. But unfortunately, the Dawood Ibrahim gang had given him a Pakistani passport, whatever name it was. And the Pakistani government is exercising their influence, saying that this guy cannot be handed over to India. So imagine, from 2000 to 23 years he is there eating free food in Bangkok, and we are not able to bring him because the government of Thailand would like to go by the whatever rules and regulations they follow. Whereas Abu Salem, we could bring him a little bit on a fast track mode from Portugal. We agreed that these are the three cases we will be dealing with, and then Pradeep Jain murder and bomb blast of 93, March 12th, all that he has been convicted and he is going through the sentence in Taloja. So, cybercrime, again, in the future, if multiple nationality people or people belonging to multiple nations are involved, MLAT is not there at all. And there is no cooperation, there is no treaty, there is no rule or regulation for handing over these people. So in Mumbai experience is, if a ransomware case takes place against a company where the data is frozen and they can't do business and they are asking for bitcoins, the police has to say that this MLAT process with Russia, we will write to our MEA, they will write to Moscow and they will respond. Imagine the war going on there, and when is it going to anything happen? So quietly the company guys will try and pay and get their data back. This is what is happening as far as the future crimes are concerned. But the past guys, we have a mix of, for example, extradition with London. Neither Nadeem came, nor Vijay Mallya came, nor Nirav Modi came, nor Lalit Modi came, nor anybody came. In the first round of cases, we win. The low-level magistrate does give, but later in appeal, it is always in their favor. Nadeem has been staying in London from 1995. That's the time Gulshan Kumar was shot. So not that we are lacking. MHA and MEA is working a lot about 2611. And definitely when Musharraf came to Agra, the first question ever our Deputy PM and Home Minister asked us about the handing over of Dawood Ibrahim. The whole process went in a different track because of this question. But unfortunately, that guy is not staying there as an Indian. And he doesn't have the same face which I showed you on the screen. It has been changed. He's got into multiple passports. He's got genuine businesses also. And illegal business of arms and narcotics and kidnapping, all that they have. But he doesn't stay in the same name. That's the problem. Now, how are we going to identify under what name, assumed name he's got, which country passport he has, and what is he doing? In spite of that, once when he had gone to London, there was an attack on him. Whatever passport he had, whatever face he had, the criminal network had their intelligence, and they did that, but it was an unsuccessful attempt. So about talking Chota Rajan came to Bali, and after his all run is over, he's there in Delhi, and all the 70 cases have been taken and given to CBI, and he has been confessing or otherwise getting conviction of 10 years, 11 years, 13 years, and some acquittals are taking place. Why did it take so much time? Because of the courts, the procedures, and the witnesses and various other things, and the guy was anyway not available. He was always operating from Cambodia or Australia. He surrendered, he landed in Bali, and where he was arrested, he was whisked away to Delhi. Since then, we don't know, we don't deal with him. So I told you earlier, all the gangs have fantastic lawyers in their payroll. And they are the fabulous ones who appear and see that nothing happens to them. They get acquittal. And if they want to prolong the case, they get prolonged. And if a favorable judge or bench is there, they quickly finish the matter also in their favor. So all the top class gangsters whom I showed have no cases pending against them. Of course, Nayak is there in jail. And this fellow Arun Gowli is in jail under MCOCA. But this law is a kind of a draconian law where you get into that but you can't get bail. That is the kind of a thing. But application of MCOCA is very, very difficult. I hope I have answered both your questions.
Thank you, sir. Can you hear me? Let me add to what you have said with your permission, sir.
Please, please.
The other thing about extradition was experienced very vigorously in the case of extradition of Abu Salem for Portugal. Was the extradition treaties, if they exist or even not, the country does not want to hand over or deport if there is a law of capital punishment in the country. They take an undertaking that if they are willing to give, but you will not hang him or execute him. That is how a number of wanted criminals of similar nature are in the Europe who had committed several heinous crimes are not being one reason the capital punishment. Except for Portugal, where, if I recall correctly, you correct me, sir, there was very hectic diplomatic activity on part of the ambassador then there, and there, Lata Reddy, if I'm correct. And then it was there that Abu Salem had come. So this is something important. Now coming back to your specific question to me about Ulfa. Ulfa leader Paresh Badua, Duguba, you know you belong to Northeast, has been sheltered in Bangladesh formally with the state patronage and till 2009. Why 2009? That is why Sheikh Hasina came back to power after dislodging Begum Khalida Zia, who and her son Tariq Rahman were instrumental in giving deliberately shelter to Ulfa cadres, including, and also furthered business interests with the help of Dawood Ibrahim D Company in Dhaka. He flourished. There were attempts by some select Assam cadre officers to go and target Paresh Badua, but with the tip-off by the Bangladesh host agencies who were complicit, he managed to escape. But the cadres remained undergoing training, receiving arms from Cambodia, from Thailand, through Naga contacts, common contacts. They were there. Now you said that what happened after that? When a friendly government, friendly in terms of friendly to India, then it was made very clear by the intelligence agencies there that they will not be allowed to enjoy their stay there. So they were on the run. And fortunately, that is why I mentioned about the geopolitical impact there. Much pressure was there. They left. There not a single trace of Ulfa on the Bangladesh soil. Paresh Badua is believed to be, we do not have any concrete evidence, in China, because China-Pakistan nexus supporting our insurgents is well known. So it is very likely that he is there, but not in Bangladesh. So what I wanted to highlight that in case an unfriendly government comes to power, then there is the possibility revival of the Northeast insurgency because their proximity of being harbored in Bangladesh much more. Am I clear? Thank you very much.
Rahul, you have something there? Please, please.
Why has there was a period of lull, and last few years has seen a lot of activity regarding the Khalistan?
Well, we can say it by reading of the situation, not based on any intelligence available of intelligence. We are not privy number one. We can just read what is happening. And by elimination, as I said or insinuated, that the Pakistanis who had patronized other forces of similar nature in the 80s are behind that. Otherwise, a 30-year-old man who was living in Dubai, absolutely no support, suddenly overnight becomes that. There was a big gap of getting solid information about it, so we could not prevent it. That is why the idea is that no further. And the now new reports also suggest that he went to some Western country and got a plastic surgery made, particularly to look like Bhindranwale, to give more impact to the movement. So the gravity of the situation remains because he may not be as charismatic as the slain leader, but he may like to use that face again to revive the movement or inject some momentum. Am I clear?
Me? Rahul, thank you for sparing me and not interrogating me. Any doubts any of you have on artificial intelligence? Tomorrow, I believe all these hacksters and experts are coming. Put their questions to them. That's my battery reply to your. Secondly, I'll just make one small observation, 30 seconds. He was mentioning about this guy, Amritpal, trying to have a cosmetic surgery lookalike. In fact, there was that most dangerous fellow not the Al Qaeda. Who did this maximum cutting and Zawahiri. Zawahiri. He was actually a criminal. Came out of the Jordan prison or something, and he imitated Prophet Muhammad in the crab stick which he used for cleaning his teeth or something like that. Certain other things, reading from books, he was trying to do that. So some of these scamsters come of the earth to boost their image. They look at icons and try to give the thing. So when I read this, I remembered what that guy was doing. And that particular Zawahiri is not that number two, not not that guy. Other guy was similar name but dangerous fellow. He was shot. He was killed by the American. Same names. No, similar name. Okay, was he killed? Okay. Then in that operation, there was technology and manual physical intelligence. It is one of the iconic operations where the intelligence operatives had both. He was finished off with that. That is one damn good operation, which there is a symbiotic and very good clear synergy between these two. That is where the Americans who had given up human intelligence in favor of technical intelligence came for a perfect blending. They have come back to the theory because of the exposure fight between the Russian intelligence and the American intelligence. In a particular year, 3-4 years, all the lists were exposed. Thinking that this manual intelligence is not good enough, they went for the technical. Then during this operation, later, they say they have come to a kind of a reasonable blending. Thank you.
We still have time for some questions. Yes, please.
My name is Anurag Bhatnagar, a batchmate of Swanandan from the IIT. Not do together. Yes. So I have developed this bad habit of on your programs a lot and in a very good learning experience. I have one question. I read somewhere that China is operating police stations in Canada. Does informally set up police stations in Canada and some other places. I was wondering if this is a good way to keep check on what people are doing in Canada, Australia. I don't know any thinking on that.
Sir, thank you for connecting. I missed that basic training, so I missed meeting you then. It's wonderful catching up so late now. This news I also read that these are all spy stations where they plant people and with the use of technology, they collect intelligence and all that. This news item I read, sir, but I'm not able to elaborate as to how they are running police stations elsewhere. But Canada and other places, they do have their presence because that lady was kept in captive in Canada for a long time. And that was Huawei, that Huawei owner's daughter and things like that. So China does have all technological jing bang thing. And I request all of you, if you have not read already, I'm sure the elite audience would have read a book by Mark Pillsbury called A 100-Year Marathon, how China is going to upseat the USA and become world's #1, and then they will rule by terror. This process began in 1949 and 2049 was the target date, but the present premier is bringing it, preponing it so that he is doing whatever he is doing. So this is how the China is doing all sorts of things. The part of that book would be what question you asked, sir. I request all of you to read that book if you have not read already. Each page, each line is absolutely happening. The book's name is 100-Year Marathon, how China is throwing the hegemony of USA, by Mark Pillsbury. That is the name of the guy. Other book I mentioned while I was standing on my feet, I didn't remember the name, is The Future of Crimes by Mark Goodman. M-A-R-K, Goodman, G-O-O-D-M-A-N. It's an old book, 5, 6, 7 years old, but still it gives you absolute idea about how in future cyber is going to be used by the criminals. He left the police force and wrote the book. Mark Goodman, Future of Crimes. Thank you.
We have a lot of people on the right side who are asking questions. Please, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Rajendra Joshi. I'm retired from the police services. And my question is addressed to Mr. Shivnandan, sir. You mentioned about the crimes in Mumbai and Maharashtra, and you gave a long list of different type of crimes, almost like 30 or 35, starting from bootlegging, kidnapping, murders, and everything. You didn't mention anything about the extortion from the politicians. Particularly when I read about the Paramveer Singh case, and the Home Minister was brought down, Mr. Deshmukh, on a complaint of 100 crore rupees extortion on a monthly basis. You being the person right on this spot, would you like to put some light on it? Whether it is, these are all exaggerated things or true, or because that particular aspect of crime is not mentioned in your chart. Thank you, sir.
I would like to discuss with you, sir, in the lunchtime and tell you the truth. But since you are live streaming this and the whole world is watching, I am not able to tell you all that which is truth. Somewhere in Sanskrit they say, even if you want to speak the truth, better be quiet, it says. I don't know Sanskrit, so I am not able to repeat that. But so I will tell you, what happened there was, yes, there was a lot of corruption in postings and all that. The minister could be accused of that. But perhaps in my, as he said, I am not privy to what happened. He may not be accused of what exactly he went to jail for. But then it happened. The use of technology and all other things by superior people. And then he went to jail for at least, I think, 23 months or so he was there. But he was not getting bail and things like that. But what will happen to in the trial and all is immaterial. But about the corruption in postings and all, there is tons of material by way of recordings and various other. But that is not the crime for which he went to the jail. Later, I will meet you and tell you other part of it, because I can't tell the truth as I know in a live streaming program. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we have Hemant Priyadarshi out there.
Very good afternoon, sirs. Thanks a lot for such enlightening presentation and talks by you. I have two observations, or you can make all question or observation, whatever, on two very divergent issues, sir. One is about the structure we have today for sharing evidence and intelligence at global level. AMLAD, LR, Interpol. I think that has become totally irrelevant with the emergence and expanse of the cybercrime. We need to have some structure that can provide us evidence, admissible evidence that can be presented in the court in real-time basis. Otherwise, the amount of money involved, the kind of damage cybercrimes can do, if we go on, using the traditional ways where evidence is denied, we send LR, it takes indefinite amount of time. So by the time we get it, even if we get it, it becomes irrelevant. So the need for some different kind of institutional setup, sir. This is one. Second,
sir, hold on, sir. Would you permit me to say a few words and then, because two questions I may not be able to remember. Sir, kindly be seated. I will try to answer your question.
Thank you, sir.
It is an observation, ladies and gentlemen, and it is not a question. If he questions, I can't answer. But it is an observation saying that the MLAT, Legal Assistance Treaties and various other treaties of exchange of information, exchange of criminals and all in the cyber world has to happen. It has to happen, yes. Because in future, all the crimes will be committed through cyber technology, whether it is rape or murder or dacoity or robbery or anything would happen through using the cyber technology. So the world should learn faster and come up with some kind of a treaty which doesn't exist, sir. As on today, it doesn't exist. You have to have only relationship between the various countries, and if they work, they work. If they don't work, then So it is so easy to say that Russia is at war with Ukraine, so they don't share information. So that is very easy for us to say that I will not investigate. But your observation, I am 100% in agreement that we should, faster the better, that we come up with an agreement, because this is becoming, as Mr. Vijay Kumar said, it's a small global village where jurisdiction should not be mattering at all. And crimes can be, I mentioned, allegedly North Korean guys working for Mauritius and operating in Bangladesh, taking money from Federal Reserve USA and taking the money out of Manila. Now tell me, which agency is responsible? Who are going to share information? What happened? Nothing happened in this investigation. Technology-wise, they have found what happened and all that. But nothing, no detection, no arrest, no recovery. So I am in full agreement with you that if future crimes are all going to be committed through cyber, then better we have this understanding and the treaties amongst any G20 type of thing or any other organizations can take up. Interpol you mentioned, they don't do all these things. They don't exchange intelligence and all that. Anyway, you will know more about Interpol. They are not doing that kind of a role where related to exchange of criminals and all that. Information, yes, they do. If I want Dawood Ibrahim, I can put a red corner notice and things like that. Or Mehul Chokshi, you know what happened to Mehul Chokshi. So that kind of a thing can happen through Interpol. Thank you, sir. Next question. You wanted to ask one more, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, without, as it is going live, without quoting any specific incidents, sir, you would agree that for a robust democracy, empowered and accountable policing is a must. We may have capacity building, empowerment of policing, we know a special act and special powers. But you will also agree that as far as accountability of policing system is concerned, there is acute vacuum, there is of any institutional mechanism for holding police accountable for any excesses, any wrongdoing, any not only action, for omission of action as well. So that is one institutional setup where we are lacking. It's not a question of one state, it's across the state. And I think there was some passing reference about it in that famous Prakash Singh case by the Supreme Court. But nothing on ground has materialized. It's not a question, again, this is an observation. Thank you, sir.
Hemant, you didn't specifically address me, but I am barging in and saying something, if you don't mind. You're absolutely dead on. We all link police reforms to fixity of tenure, some transparency in posting, a few things based on Prakash. I didn't directly deal with that, but I told that police becomes one of the legs of a four-legged, which the politician on one side, society on the other side, other institutions like judiciary and others constrain our work. The real way to look at policing, very profound question which may trigger a long answer, but I will make it crisp. Policing introduced for us was unlike Robert Peel's what he introduced elsewhere. He introduced the Irish constabulary-like, slightly military-oriented policing to handle the problems of a colony, and ours was the richest. Though we had to try to dilute and whittle down gradually over a period of time, that real dilution of the venom injected there, the very quality and characteristic of police has not been decontaminated. So the real reform, in my mind, the difference between and England is not a very pure police, they also have got the problems. Don't think that they are incorruptible and clean. Difference there is an officer of the Constitution. Even the lowest constable is an officer of the Constitution. You are not. You are answerable to the Constitution, but you are a tool or a servant or an appointee of the sovereign government. There is a lot of difference. Now the plus side of this is the sovereign immunity. Whatever you do under the color of office, you get a kind of protection. But the negative aspect of all this, you are not supported and held, completely backed by the constitution in that sense. You understand my point? I have put it. So this is the basic difference. Tell me, if everybody says that policing cannot be police, if you have made autonomous, you will go bonkers, you will run roughshod and you will spoil the society. But if there is a very good mechanism to look after the police complaint authority, available in some countries, maybe Canada, maybe some other places have. Now system is perfect. The question is whether you're getting 1 out of 10 or 6 out of 10. Then you should move towards 6 out of 10 thing. That model, who is willing to accept it? Police are the most powerful tool of the government. Today, I'll give a personal example because I try to, as commissioner, the reform was still inside me and I didn't want the FIR and non-FIR cases to happen. We used to have all grave crimes like Bata prices, the grave crime, if it is 50,000 is a grave crime, if you will find the crime became 49,000 something. Robbery instead of being 392, not joking, it really happened. Became 341, 323 and 379. You can, I mean, this must be happening all over. So I said, I've got a chance now and Jayalalitha ji will listen to me. I had the confidence and she was supreme, very powerful. So I said, okay, let me try to shake it up. Because the law and order fellows were acting like owners of the cell. They will not allow the crime accused. Crime accused has to be interrogated in a mansion or somewhere else. All sorts of confusion, robberies. Law and order in the AC was not recognized, it was a crime AC. So we tried to do that. What happened? The crimes, instead of being 10 FIR crimes and 20 non-FIR crimes, became 30 FIRs over a period of time. The CM has been notified by the commissioner. On a personal note, I told her briefly, Madam, you will find a hype, but we will control it. This is the truth. I mentioned, he said, fine. Then the assembly was there within 15 days. Now, the present ruling government was the opposition. Oh, they came out like a ton of bricks on her, and she was feeling very bad that every day she has to answer, and I was not very good in giving a crisp answer. Mr. Paul, or some deadly people were there to give her replies. She went on trying it, and she got tired of it. Sent word to the Home Secretary, Mr. Ed Munir, a friend of mine, saying that Vijay Kumar, pipe it down. I was in a dilemma what to do, but luckily I had to leave the city. I went back to the STF. I really don't know. I am not holding a brief for myself and saying that I was very clean. I am trying to tell you why it could not be. Because crime became a weapon, beat each other. Same government, when this one came, same ADMK, her party, were trashing her. Crimes were boosted. Original, 1%, 2%, has to rise. That is where in future, I hope that when you put your crime that occurred, I am a victim on your Instagram, nobody can say no. It has to be accepted. That's what I was coming. I really wonder whether the velocity of the public opinion, the digital revolution which is happening, and the people, the customer who is affected, who is a victim of crime, all of them create an atmosphere in which you will not be answerable, you will not look like a robber for crime having happened. The police look like victims, police look like culprits, as if we have committed the crime, we run around. If there is a rape, it goes on its. But if it is picking up some likes and dislikes and it comes up on 1 million hits, then the whole government, the top to bottom, will keep running, make a martyr of the rape victim, as if they will make an iconic situation of the rape. Not that they lack empathy. That means where there is attention, where the media is watching, where the lens is watching, the government will watch, the authorities will watch, opposition will watch. So this is where we are in a peculiar situation, that if there is a proper authority to look after police, we are made, I am not asking for autonomy to go to illegal things, to maintain the law, to observe the law. If there is a proper format, we can do better. Why is it that the Indian Police Service, the most superior service among all the police forces of the world, in spite of such a leadership, you still find people going on cribbing, naturally complaining and justifiably complaining. Quality of service, enough. We have done so much in Indian police, but still long way to go. All these maladies can only be repaired if the sub-inspector feels as much autonomous as any other constitutional. It's a very complex game. Judiciary has protected itself with a firewall. Other agencies, political, the power, clout, etc. is a different format. Executive is its own sticky ground. Police is one important authority. No political authority is going to give up that power because they feel threatened. The opposition takes one stand one way, ruling party one way, and then when they exchange, you are still in the middle of the firing line. I hope things will evolve, still have years of service. I'm sure by the time you will find more hopeful, I am very confident.
Ms. Sanjay, can I say something with your permission? Yeah. Now I'm answering the IG crime, who asked the first question. Spark came little later to me. So I wanted to say that coming back to organized, what he said was that in Rajasthan, slowly the organized crime is picking up, and then this time that we did. That's why, precisely having had intelligence about that, I did a presentation on organized crime and particularly on MCOCA. What my observation, if you all kindly listen to me, is that the encounter specialists as a variety should not be encouraged. If no encounter has ever taken place here, I don't know, last one was ever done here. So that should not become an entity and a variety. They need not be entertained. Whatever happened in Mumbai, it's a different thing. The second one is, there is a nexus between politicians and criminal gangs. And earlier, the nexus, it was only a nexus. Now, lot of examples can be given as the criminals themselves have become politicians. I can give names. They have become Home Minister, Chief Minister, and various other ministers who worked for gangs. That's a very dangerous kind of a situation. Very innocuous example is yesterday's thing. Atiq Ahmad, he was 5 times MLA and 1 time a member of parliament and things like that. So various other examples also can be given from my state, other states. So that is something you have to be careful about. And the second one is, what you will be careful about, how you are going to stop and all, nobody can answer, but I'm just bringing it to your notice. Next is, jails are becoming breeding ground. Maybe they were always there, but my experience in Mumbai was the talent spotting and talent nurturing was all were happening in the jail. Put a small kind of a young boy with a bit of a spark and he comes out as a very well-trained soldier. So there is where we have to keep a watch. Put all the jammers and all around the jails, but still Bablu Srivastava is acting with 28 SIM cards at a given time. So that is what is the science and technology all about. Then the very sensitive subject is policemen working for gangs. Policemen working for gangs. It's a very sensitive subject, but I have to tell to an audience like this, receptive. I'm not giving more and more examples and all that. But when it came to me, we dealt with them in the same way as we will deal with the gangsters. That's a different story. But you have to be aware. This is a subject sensitive we don't discuss in crime conferences. How many policemen are indulging in this? How are they actively participating, wielding an AK-47 to go and shoot a builder? To that level, policemen are involved or were involved. So that is another thing we have to think. And the last one is, it's all about finance. So cutting the flow of funds is a very major activity we can do working along with various other agencies. ED, CBI, Directorate of DRI and Customs and various others. If we can work along with them, then the umbilical cord can be cut. So these are some observations about the organized crime. Since the IG crime mentioned about it, I thought I'll take the liberty of pointing out these observations from my side. Thank you.
थैंक यू सर. अगर कोई हिंदी में कोई प्रश्न पूछना चाहता है तो प्लीज़ आप लोग पूछ सकते हैं. हमें बस लास्ट एक क्वेश्चन के हमारे पास टाइम है. यहाँ पे एडिशनल एसपीज भी हैं, डिप्टी एसपीज भी हैं. So we have one last question. Anshuman, you wanted to ask me?
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Anshuman Bhumia, DIG ATS, sir. My question is addressed to Shivnandan, sir. So you have been credited with creating a very strong anti-terror framework post 26/11 in Maharashtra, in Mumbai as CP Mumbai and later on as DGP Maharashtra, sir. You spoke about the response mechanism. You spoke about the vehicles, Force One, equipments and stuff. I would request you to kindly tell us about the intelligence gathering mechanism that was put in place for ATS and other state units to prevent these kind of attacks in Maharashtra, and also how this information was shared with other state and central intelligence agencies. Secondly, sir, you talked about a lot of changes and reforms that you brought in from 2008 to 2011. How many of these changes continue till this date? Were they institutionalized? And are you happy or satisfied seeing them today? And are they still in the same shape or the way you wanted them to be? My third question is just
If you can hold on, you asked two. Can we answer? Because I can't be remembering all
Right,
of them.
sir.
Will you allow me to answer the
Sir,
first
sir.
two?
Right, sir.
Yeah. The first two is about the intelligence generating and sharing and all that. The committee by R.D. Pradhan and Mr. V. Balachandran. R.D. Pradhan was the Home Secretary, India, Government of India, and then Mr. V. Balachandran was the Cabinet Secretariat Special 58 batch IPS. They did say that all the intelligence was flowing from Government of India agencies. 6 pieces of intelligence had come. And even this is applicable in the American WTC blast also. If you read that report of analysis of the WTC attack, it ends by saying that intelligence was there, murmur was there, but it is lack of imagination which resulted in the blowing up of the WTC towers. Same thing happened here. The intelligence did come, 6 pieces came. But it came saying that on any, I mean, obviously, I worked in the IB, so I'm not saying anything about any intelligence agency. As they collected, they said, someday there is going to be a sea-bound attack, and these are the number of hotels which one of them can be attacked. That started from Taj, Oberoi, then there's Nataraj Hotel on Marine Drive, Juhu Marriott, and whatever was there in the Darya Kinara was there, all that was mentioned. Not that nobody acted or anything like that. It was not put in the garbage dump or anything. Hemant Karkare as ATS chief did call all these people and gave it to them in writing saying that these are the 1,000 things we will tighten up. And they got an undertaking and the people went and inspected. All that happened, anticipating such an attack. But you know, when and where is decided by ISI Pakistan. So slowly these steps taken by Hemant Karkare petered out, and on a particular day, the guys did come from Murdike of near Karachi and did do the attack on Taj and Oberoi being the most visible structures. So that's what happened. And the intelligence, unfortunately, as you said, it can't be generated by the local police. Neither ATS or local police cannot be generating such intelligence because these are all happening abroad. Like 1993, March 12th attack, 12 blasts took place. 4,000 kilos of RDX was brought for that. That conspiracy was hatched in Dubai by Dawood Ibrahim and others. What can I do anything about that? So if this other agencies, if they can get a whiff of that and inform, we should follow it up and work on that. If there is negligence in that, catastrophe will strike us. So that is the first part of it. Next part of it is B of the same question is, we do have access to all the technology you think about. Little bit of launching our own satellite, all other technologically, whatever happens. Our police forces are knowledgeable about it. ATS, this Force One and intelligence, all of them have state-of-the-art kind of collection machinery, electronic intelligence. So, for example, we had that intelligence that some guy was speaking to Kandahar when that IC-814 was hijacked, December 1999. And that number was given to me by Hemant Karkare, who was working in the RNAW at the time. He was the station head. And we had no mechanism to track that telephone, but our guys did manually and went and arrested. And he was talking to the very same guys who were holding that aircraft with that cover, monkey cap, balaclava caps there in that. And those Pakistanis had come to collect 2 passports. Captain Attar, brother of that the most dreaded terrorist who is wanted for 2611, and others had in Hindu names passport each from Mumbai and Navi Mumbai. The brother of that Pakistani terrorist had 2 passports and delivered in the Hindu name. That is what we all found out. So that way, electronic intelligence gathering and otherwise, we have come a long way from 1999 or even 2008. The Americans and others brought such kind of equipment to be deployed, and then we also, our agencies also did whatever might they have they could do, they did. But now, today we are talking of 2023, we are way ahead. We are way ahead. But unfortunately, you can't task the state police force to collect intelligence from cross-border terrorists or cross-border agencies. Now, the second question you asked is, I did this, I did that, all that was all right, because the government was also in a great enthusiasm. If you remember, all of you remember, a few years before in Pakistan, airport was attacked with all the bombs and things like that. The next day they went and again attacked. There was a gap, but then they went and attacked again. I don't know which airport is that, but it came prominently. So I suspected that kind of a repeat attack. So, 4 days they were holding fire in Taj Hotel itself was shameful enough activity. So next one should not happen. So we did all that. You asked me what happened to all that. That equipment is there as it was purchased. All the vehicles are running. Additionally, what happened? To my knowledge, no, nothing has been added. Software, hardware, yes, plenty. But for holding on to a terror attack of that variety, where Kasab and others were involved, additionally, nothing much has been done. So, visibly, I am not privy to what is happening there. Knowledgeably, openly, nothing much has happened. But the Force 1 is in ship shape order, and anytime they can do. NSG is also doing all the drills and all that. That is all there. As far as the Mumbai police or the Maharashtra police, ATS is there, vehicles are there, weapons are there. But if you ask me what happened to the American sniper of all those Jingbang lot weapons I bought, never once they have been fired. Because there was no opportunity at all. Do you blame me for having purchased all those snipers and all that? No, we needed to buy, we bought. But there was no opportunity to hone the skills or to use them anywhere. When Obama came, we did do all that kind of thing, but that was only a kind of a drill. That was a drill. That's about it. I hope you are satisfied. My answer is the Mumbai police need to upgrade, and all this other governments also need to upgrade such kind of skills and weaponry, tactics, all those things that need to be upgraded. And money has to be spent. That time, I think I got something like 263 crores. It came like that. But now, that much budget, if you go to the government, I'm sure they are going to drag their feet. Thank you.
Don't be feeling bad that your articles are not being used, Shiva. You're feeling proud, I suppose. Because we went to a place called GSG-9. I don't know, but some of you would have heard. GSG-9 is an elite force in Germany. We went to the headquarters and I spent very intimate time with, apart from the briefings, I used to spend time with individuals. Now, this was in 2009 as director of NPA I went. There was a big delegation with me. Mr. Gill was also, no, not Gill, who became DG NSG. Aulak, he was there. And Uttam Bansal was there, and 6-7 of us went. What I found interesting, because I've read the history of 1985 Lufthansa flight hijack in Mogadishu, GSG-9 went and rescued and brought them. Leon Urich was the lieutenant colonel, the leader of the team. I was looking for the leadership qualities, and I was quite impressed with this man, because after the successful operation, they were coming back with all the hostages in the team. They were supposed to land in Berlin or in the other city. The chancellor and all these chaps were landed up there and waiting. Message was sent to the captain asking, Colonel Ulrich will now come down and please tell your boys to be in uniform ceremonial. He woke up, he received the message and he looked at his men. 3 days they have not slept, they are all sleeping, snoring happily. He said, I don't have the heart to tell my men to change their dress. No formality, we have done our job. And all of them, the photograph is beautiful, you can Google it, I can never forget it. I read when I was in SPG. All of them are running down in jeans and all the casual dress because they have done the job. So here, ceremony is not important, tactics was important. So I was quite impressed, and my dream was to visit this place, SAS in UK. I never got a chance, they would never let me get into the SAS Hereford Institute, but I had SAS friends, I used to talk to them. So when I went to GSG-9, I asked them, what happened after that? No other incident after that. That was the only crisis they handled. But they're keeping the team very sharp. I was asking your DG Umesh, how is your, I know Dalbir, General Dalbir Singh, who used to be here. Dalbir or Dalbir? Old man. He was brigadier when I was IG Kashmir. Any encounter, I was there, whether it is army or BSF or CRP, I'll suddenly find this chap standing there. Only difference was I was smoker and he was a non-smoker. Suddenly he will come behind me and tap. Sir, he will say. I used to hug him. I said, why are you here? Then he will ask me, why are you here? Mutual question. We are not supposed to be there. Both will be there. Anyway, when I saw, where is a fellow who has done Mogadishu? Not a single fellow, only one officer was there. He was become like inspector. Oh, I said, damn good, yeah. What's he doing? He is now in charge of inventory. That is quartermaster. So I said, how are you keeping him for so long? Sir, he is the only institution memory. He is our only memory because he knows what happened and we shift him and he wanted to stay back. Rest of them have gone. We are shifting him 3 years in inventory, after another 3 years communication, we want him there. We never leave him. I came back. I gave the same advice to NSG because in the NSG, crisis you are telling me 3 days delay, I was also organized. I have a personally involved with NSG. Nagrani, who was the first leader, second was Ved Marwa, and I went with my team from SPG on the advice of Mr. Rajiv Gandhi to go and test out the shooting range. I gave them 3 out of 10 because the electronic system started failing. And there was a chap called Deveshwara, somebody, Electronic Corporate, he got very upset with my team. But I gave a very sincere report because Prime Minister himself has told me what better business. I went and shot, 1 full day I spent, came back. The shooting range, the defensive training range with Major Ramdas, we have spent a hell of a lot of time in training. So when I found this, I came back and told, earlier you used to have continuity. Why do you want to send back all your NSG people? No, here the rule, bureaucracy. 3 years, you want a cushy posting in Delhi, get out. 5 years, you are in Delhi, get out. I told them, if that is the case, let him not opt to say that you are so good, A+ fellows, keep it. But these advices were not followed. They went by rules and the institution member. That is the difference between that and this. So when Shiva said no incident happened, I feel, inshallah, I feel happy and I wanted to correspond with what happened in GSG 9. It's important. Don't have to have incidents. It's important that your Jodhpur, your commando should be in superposition, your other specialists should be in superposition, so that emergency responses are possible and don't depend. Another thing, without contradicting my well-learned dear colleague, he said central agencies have got a certain access to certain gadgets, equipments, and exchange of views and a different level protocols and all. But without disclosing which operation, I want to tell you, major disaster happened in Sri Lanka, but the intelligence was passed, but they could not tackle it. Where did the intelligence come from? It went through the IB. I also have great friends in IB. A lot of the DIBs are my dear friends. Without detracting the importance of IB, because it's a senior most organization. It's like your elder brother, senior most. You respect it. Actually, it was done by the Tamil Nadu intelligence. Iswara Murthy, if I don't mind disclosing the name. Iswara Murthy, deadly fellow. He gave that piece of intelligence. He passed on, and that was curated, and that became a national prestige. India was able to supply. But it is another point, they could not react well. I don't want to divulge more. Lunchtime, if anyone is curious, Rahul, you can come to me, I will tell you the name. Like Shiva, you go to Shiva, you come to me.
We would now like to close the question and answer session. There will be more time for you all to interact with the eminent speakers during the high tea, which I think will be converted into lunch now. We have, before we wrap up today's seminar, we have one last speaker. It's an honor to introduce Shri Umesh Mishra, belongs to the 1989 batch of the Indian Police Service. During his illustrious career, before taking over as DGP, he has done many challenging assignments. He was SP of Districts Churu, Pali, Kota City and Bharatpur, and the Range Inspector General of Jodhpur Range and Bharatpur Range. He has headed the very important branches of PHQ like the Special Operations Group, the Anti-Terrorist Squad, and the State Intelligence Apparatus. He has had a deputation in the Intelligence Bureau, where he had a very satisfying tenure. Shri Mishra is a firm believer in going back to the basics and strengthening the day-to-day police functioning at the police station level. His enthusiasm, leadership and minute supervision has resulted in a sharp drop in the heinous crime in the state. He is a firm believer in making Rajasthan Police adopt technology in a big way and use it in day-to-day functioning. It is his vision to bring the academia, industry and law enforcement agencies on the same platform for building a cyber-resilient ecosystem. In pursuance of the same, we are having for the first time a seminar tomorrow in which we will have representatives of all these three stakeholders. I would now Rajasthan Police has taken various steps for the welfare of police personnel and their families under his leadership. He is the proud recipient of the Police Meritorious Service Medal and the President's Police Medal for Distinguished Service. So I would now request you to address.
Esteemed veterans of Indian Police, Shri K. Vijay Kumar sir, Shri D.U. Shivanandan sir, and Shri Shantanu Mukherjee sir. Director RPA, my friend Rajiv Sharma ji, ADG Railways and coordinator of this seminar, Sanjay Agrawal ji, my esteemed senior and former DGP Rajasthan, K.S. Pansar, DG Cybercrime and Civil Rights, Shri Ravi Prakash ji, all senior officers and all ranks of Rajasthan Police who are present here. I am indeed beholden to these distinguished officers for their presence here amongst us, and they embody and epitomize complete policing. On the one hand, we had the opportunity of listening to Shri Vijay Kumar sir, who had shown his tactical and visionary policing in eliminating the brigand Veerappan, and he is an officer who is loved and revered throughout India. Shri Shunandan sir, I have heard about you since many years through my batchmates who are there in Maharashtra. Sir is famous for tackling organized crime, and he didn't speak much on the other aspect, though he dropped a hint inadvertently. He has a deep spiritual side to his personality, and I am told that has been a source of strength in policing also. Shantanu sir has been a senior in my alma mater, Allahabad University, and also he has been an inmate of my hostel. Super senior, Holland Holler. Sir, the points that emerged during speeches and interactions are indeed very educative and edifying for all of us. And there is no denying the fact that the coming days we will have the menace of cybercrime and other technology-induced crimes. So, like as history has taught us, we have to keep pace with changing technology. The Mughal Emperor Babur, when he came to India and he could defeat the army of Ibrahim Lodi and Rana Sanga because he had artillery at his command. And military history is replete with such instances. The Civil War of US was won by Union on the strength of superior technology. General Lee was a great tactician and commander, but technology, in terms of technology, the Confederacy was lacking. They had superior artillery. Likewise, during Second World War, it was a game of technology as well. The Morse codes could be deciphered by allies, and that played a pivotal role in turning the tide. So, we have to be technology friendly, we have to accept technology, and starting from constable to DGP, they have to cultivate that habit. At the same time, traditional policing has its value. The average man in streets can expect help and succor from ordinary policeman patrolling the streets with lathi in his hand. So we have to blend the two. When it comes to intelligence, true electronic gadgetry have their role and function, and we have to be well versed with these advances. At the same time, the traditional human intelligence gathering cannot be lost sight of. Both have to go hand in hand. Shantanu sir is an expert in security and intelligence matters, and since the realm of intelligence and security are shrouded in mystery, so I am sure he didn't speak much about his operational accomplishments. But the truth is that generation of intelligence is as important as proper dissemination, collation, and coordination. And in US, the subsequent inquiries revealed that intelligence was there. I am referring to 2001 attack, but it was not passed on to the relevant quarters. There was lack of coordination. So we have to equip ourselves with knowledge, skill, and right attitude also. During question answer, questions were raised regarding police accountability and other aspects of policing. The thing is that police leadership wants to reform the police, but there are inherent constraints imposed by various factors, and these factors are not under our control. So, but given the discretion we as leaders of force have, we can do a lot to make police accountable in our own way. We as leaders of Indian Police Service have to set example of ourselves. If we are accountable to ourselves and our conduct and speech are not at variance, there is no gulf in what we say and what we practice, then I am sure the whole force subconsciously tend to imbibe those values. So I will not speak much and delay lunch. Sir, again I'll thank all the three, and formal vote of thanks will be done by my friend Rajiv Sharma ji, but I am individually thankful to you all, sir, and also as DGP, head of Rajasthan Police. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your motivating words to your own organization, your own people. Now it's the time to express gratitude to all of our esteemed guest speakers, to present mementos to our keynote speakers who enrich us with their knowledge and vast experience. I would like to request DGP sir, please present a memento to Shri K. Vijaykumar sir. Respected DGP sir. Request to DG cum Director RPA. So please present a memento to Shri D. Shivnandan sir. Request to ADGP Railways and coordinator of this seminar, Shri Sanjay Agarwal sir, to present a memento to Shri Shantanu Mukherjee sir. The time to say thank you, the time to acknowledge all those without them, this event would have been impossible. The support of each and everyone who is present here or associated with this seminar. Humble request to DG cum Director RPA sir, please propose vote of thanks.
Respected speakers of today's seminar, Shri K. Vijaykumar sir, Shri D. Shivnandan sir, and Shri Shantanu Mukherjee, DGP Shri Umesh Mishra ji, our retired DG Shri Bains sir, other senior officers present here, and our fellow colleagues. Sir, indeed, we are extremely grateful on behalf of Rajasthan Police for you all to have travelled all the way and to join us on this historical occasion when we celebrate our 74th Police Sthapna Divas. Sir, your presence here on the dais today and your interaction with our officers has made this day also another historical moment in our history of Rajasthan Police. The takeaway, if I can sum up in one word, is that we have to shed the status quo thinking and need to constantly upgrade our skills if we are serious in facing challenges which are all around with the changing face of crime. Sir, your talk today have not only been informative but also very encouraging and motivating for all of us, and I'm sure your presence here today with us will keep guiding our officers. We have IPS probationers also, sir. We have deputy SPs and we have sub-inspector probationers. So these are the officers who are going to be there for a long time in the field, and your words will continue to inspire them. So I once again thank you all, sir, and thank all the audience also for your patience and your presence here today. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And now all of you are invited for the high tea. Thank you. Jai Hind.